45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I think the whole industry and everybody who says that they're good at tasting wine is lying. I think it's the biggest mass lie.
It's all perpetrated by big wine?
In the history of mankind, there's no bigger lie than people can tell which wine is good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I love people who are like, I'm just tasting and spitting out and like, I'm not here to get loaded. Get out of here.
Wineries are the scenes of so many crimes. People get sloppy at wineries.
We were
like
at a
dress over your head type stuff. Once my husband and I, we were still dating, went to wine country, but took bikes.
I just had this image of you following your husband on a bike, just veering off slowly into the right, tipping over, and just like Maggie's asleep on the sidewalk.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show. I think tonight is going to be a tough one for the Kansas City Chiefs. It is Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. We say a hello to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat if you want to watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. We say hi to our amazing CBS Sports Radio affiliates. Travis Kelce, Perloff, still questionable. Chris Jones, no contract. He's not going to be playing tonight. Kansas City's in trouble.
Okay, you do realize Detroit Lions are going to Kansas City. The game's in Kansas City.
I do realize that. And you know what? I think it's actually the perfect thing for the Lions because the Lions have had to deal with unprecedented hype this offseason. Yeah. This is not something we're used to talking about when it comes to the Lions. We're talking about the Lions being terrible. We're talking about the Lions being a laughingstock. Now, because they won 8 out of the last 10 last year, it's like, oh, Lions, they're the hot team. The fact that they get to start on the road, I think actually helps a little bit because you don't have all the added pressure of, being in front of your home fans who are expecting everything. Instead, pressure now on the Kansas City Chiefs to deliver if Kelce can't play and without Chris Jones. The Detroit Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Without Chris Jones, how are they going to get to Goff? How are they going to be able to stop what is a high-flying Detroit Lions offense?
This is the Chiefs we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to outscore them. And here's the thing. This is a 2-week Andy Reid situation. In fact, it's more than 2 weeks. Andy Reid off a bye is unbeatable. Guess what? When else he's unbeatable? Week 1. Unbeatable. They've not only they won every time, they're 9-1 since he got there on opening weeks, and they're 7-3 against the spread. And usually the Super Bowl champion wins this game. All the numbers point to Kansas City. I just feel like Andy Reid is going to game plan something. I don't care if Travis Kelce's there. They're going to outscore
2 days ago, it doesn't matter if you had 4 weeks, 40 weeks, or 2 days ago, Travis Kelce had a hyperextended knee. He's not your average guy. This isn't just like losing anybody here. It's Kelce who has more targets than anyone else on the team as a tight end.
Andy Reid didn't even need a starting quarterback. If you give him 2 weeks, he wins all the time. He is going to game plan against an inferior Detroit Lions defense. I mean, the way you're talking about it, the Lions are the defending champion, and the Chiefs are this upstart team. Come on, this is in Kansas City. It is Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback. You could say the Lions are going to win, but you have to use the word shock the defending champions. Because I don't care about the Travis Kelce injury. I don't care about Chris Jones. I mean, their defense can't stop anyone anyway. Did you see what the Eagles did to them?
Yes.
So I picture the Chiefs in a shootout. Even without Travis Kelce, I still think it's going to be a shootout. I can't wait. I got to admit, I'm not super comfortable with even 4.5 points. I think it's going to be a close game. But I think the Chiefs ride that Andy Reid magic, and they're going to outscore them here tonight.
Well, this was a shootout of a game when they met last year. And I just love how when Detroit is now like one of the sexy teams and an out of nowhere team, or, you know, someone who could win their own division, whatever. Everyone talks about the offense, but no one is talking about the defense. When they actually did make appreciable upgrades this offseason, which the Chiefs really did not make. In fact, the most important person from their defense is missing. So, yes, Mahomes is incredible. He does things that, we all can only dream of. But at some point, you can't just take away, and he's going to cover up for everything. And I think in this game, it's a little bit of a wake-up call, and I think the reigning champs go home disappointed tonight.
Okay, so the Chiefs made some the Lions made some improvements on defense. The last one big guy they got was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Do you know what his role in the Eagles Super Bowl was last year? He was the guy who kept, he said, "Oh man, my bad. I blew that assignment." Or he might yell at the ref after the Chiefs guy ran in the end zone. These improvements.
What about Cam Sutton from the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm telling you, these improvements are not enough. It's Kansas City at home. I feel like you're discounting how good this team is.
No, and I'm not discounting the home crowd. Kansas City, as I've always said and everyone says, one of the hardest places to play. The noise there is insane. The fan base is incredible. All of that. I just think that Kelsey, if he cannot play, and if he does play and he's limited, well, I guess I'd feel a little better about it if you're the Chiefs, because at least he'd be like a decoy. But also, then you're playing with fire here, because if Kelsey, who clearly has something going on in his knee, I know it's not the worst case scenario because there's no structural damage, but if they're all this swelling that his brother's talking about, then that means there's swelling, which means there's something wrong.
Yeah, but in the Super Bowl, lots of guys stepped up. Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney was really good in a limited action. You got this rookie, Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
They're going to be
Kadarius Toney, who you can't count on at all, and
one
a rookie.
game. Over the course of time, maybe you can't count them. Then they have the running backs are going to catch a lot of passes. I think if Detroit's smart, they're going to play really ball control and try and keep it out of Casey's hands. But that's not how Detroit's built either. They want to push the ball down the field.
Well, with Jahmyr Gibbs now, and obviously with David Montgomery.
Yeah, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a passing weapon more than a running weapon. I don't see them as a ball control thing, especially when they're going against this Kansas City defense.
No, you got to put up points. The only way they get out of this thing is by really scoring.
So I think it'll be a shootout. And if it's a shootout, I feel really comfortable that Casey can win a shootout, because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. And I know Goff did that when he was with the Rams and they won 54-51 in prime time. But for Detroit to go on the road, Detroit can still be a great team and lose this game. That's the other thing. There's no pressure on them at all. It's an out-of-conference game. Who cares if they lose? If they lose to the best team in the AFC, they can still go 12-5 and be a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC.
No, I don't think that it kills the Lions, and I don't think it would kill the Chiefs. So if I'm the Lions, though, the fact that no one is like believing in us, I get to play that card too. And I get to come in and try to spoil the night for the Kansas City Chiefs. Do we have the Dan Campbell? We have a little Dan Campbell. Let's listen to the Danimal himself talking about his team.
No, I don't feel weight. I feel wind underneath my freaking wings, man. That's what I feel.
Truthfully?
Truthfully.
It uplifts you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this, man. This is outstanding. No, this is not a burden. This is not pressure. This is not weight. This gives me inspiration is what it does for me.
Now, the question is, do you think Dan Campbell's a Bette Midler fan? Wind beneath my freaking wings, man. Yeah.
So
could be.
That's interesting. And how many playoff appearances have all these Dan Campbell quotes given us since he got there?
Well, if Seattle hadn't won that game and then, whatever happened last year, they beat the Packers. They sent Aaron Rodgers packing to the New York Jets.
So we're making our Super Bowl picks today. Can we wait till tomorrow? Because if the Lions do win this game, then I have to tell you.
No,
they
you don't get to jump on. No.
Yeah, because I think there is a lot of pressure on the Chiefs. They should sweep the NFC. I think all the good AFC teams should sweep the NFC teams because the AFC is so much better. So that's another reason why I feel like, okay, yeah, Detroit's a really good team. I think they're going to win the division. But they're an NFC team. You're telling me KC should at least at home sweep their NFC opponents. That's just the way it should be because it's such an edge in that conference.
But without Kelsey, this is a different offense. Like, we see what it's like without Tyreek Hill. They won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I get that. But it doesn't mean that they can do and replicate the same thing without Kelsey. Kelsey is so important to what they do.
How would you possibly know that that Kelsey's any different than Hill. Nobody knew that Hill was going to be unimportant. So why? Maybe Kelsey's not as important as we thought.
No, I think that Hill was clear that Hill wasn't as important because Andy Reid didn't move heaven and earth to try to keep Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Yet Travis Kelce remains. And yes, I don't know what they're going to do life after Kelce, but that's after Kelce. For now, while he's still there, he's such a massive part of the offense. You just can't deny it.
Well, also, he could play tonight, so let's not talk about him in the past.
It's questionable. According to Pro Football Talk, he's got a $44,000 bonus, roster bonus that would kick in if he plays tonight.
Does that mean anything to
I don't
him?
know. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about that's a 0.01% of his yearly salary. Besides, they got Noah Gray, and they got, remember Blake Bell, the former Oklahoma quarterback with the Belldozer? He's in the mix.
Great.
I love Noah Gray, by the way. Every once in a while, some random receiver on Kansas City will catch a touchdown. You'll be like, and he'll make a great catch. Mahomes can throw to anybody. He really can. I want a shootout, and I think KC, because of the Andy Reid effect, 2-week, any kind of bye, even in the beginning of the season, Reid is just going to torch this offense. I think it's going to be super high scoring, a lot of fun. I just don't see Detroit stopping KC, even without Kelsey. But I'm curious, if Kelsey was purely healthy, would you really think about this game totally differently?
I mean, probably, but I'm like everyone. I mean, the line on this game came down, 2 points?
Yeah.
Almost 2 full points for Travis Kelce. That's like quarterback level movement on a line. So clearly I'm not the only one who thinks that Kelce is more important.
Doubt.
How much would the line have moved if Tyreek Hill was still on the team and couldn't play? Not 2 points. Not 2 points.
I don't know. Tyreek Hill was...
No, I know Tyreek Hill. You and I both picked him to be Offensive Player of the Year. It's not about that. It's about the line would not have moved that much.
I think you're looking back and thinking about it now. I'm not sure it was that obviously. A lot of people...
wouldn't have moved because they still would have had Kelce.
No, that's not true.
I don't...
I mean, listen, the Super Bowl odds fell like an anvil when they lost Tyreek Hill last year. Nobody was picking the Chiefs at this time last year because they lost Tyreek Hill. And they made up for it.
I picked them last year.
Oh, there you go.
I know. I feel like I got a pulse on this team. I got a vibe on them. They beat my team so many times. I feel like I understand them.
So you think Kelce is far more important than Tyreek Hill was?
I think that proved out. Yeah, I think that bared out.
All right.
I do.
I mean, I think that coach.
They kept one and they didn't keep the other.
I think that coach and that quarterback can do a lot of damage. In fact, I don't even think they need that quarterback. I think that coach can do a lot of damage.
Oh, wow. Look at you now. Just like the Andy Reid Kool-Aid.
Well, I mean, listen, I was in Philly when Donovan McNabb went down, and he turned A.J. Feely into a first-team All-Pro quarterback, and then Kevin Cobb, and then whoever else was there. Reid's game planning is a huge factor, and he tends to come up with twists in these situations. We'll see.
You realize the one thing that changed with Andy Reid when he got to Kansas City?
What?
Super Bowls. Couldn't win them before. And then finally started winning them with Mahomes.
But he got to 5 conference title games.
Yeah, he's had a ton of success.
He was a slouch. I mean, also, too, he's been how many Super Bowls with? He's been in 3, right? In KC?
3, yeah.
3. So he's 1, 2. But they were all ridiculously close. It's not like he's that different a coach. But he always had good offense in Philly. He just couldn't really get it all together at the same time. And they lost his home favorites in the NFC title game 3 times. So, Ed, I don't know why you're getting me on this. Is that because I make fun of the Bills all the time? You're telling me how the Eagles lose?
No, I'm just saying that it's a little much to say that if Andy Reid could win a Super Bowl with just any quarterback, he would have won a Super Bowl with just any quarterback. And he got close, but it took Mahomes to put him over the edge.
But he can turn any quarterback into a really productive quarterback. That's been proven again and again and again. Jeff Garcia, it doesn't matter.
We can do that, but we're talking about now the most elite level, and to me, missing a massive weapon tonight if Kelce can't go.
I'll tell you, okay, maybe tonight, but over the long haul, if Reid coaches 5 more years, they're not going to completely fall off because Kelce retires because they have Mahomes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But
why is that not valid for tonight?
Because I think they need Kelce for this game plan. If you have a whole offseason to think about how you're going to replace Travis Kelce and you make trades and you draft accordingly, then it's different. This happened 2 days ago. And now you're asking to create a new game plan with a guy who's such a huge part of the offense.
Okay.
We'll see.
Do we see Kelce in the second half that much last year in the Super Bowl? No. I think he was thrown all over the field.
I know, but he's still a decoy.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you have a lot of confidence in that Lions defense, even with Kelce. Here's the other thing, too.
Yes.
You must be nervous about this pick because it's in KC.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
And I wouldn't even take the points probably. I would just do the money line. Like if I am feeling that confident about Detroit and if Kelsey is going to be limited, then if I was going to go betting on this, probably just go money line is a little bit better value, right?
Definitely.
4.5.
Definitely. It doesn't. I don't feel like.
I don't know if it pays to do the money line on that.
Yeah, and usually, but there's another stat. Casey, when they're between 5 and 10-point favorites, almost always wins.
Yeah.
So
It's just under.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just under, so maybe that's a factor. You don't want to read too much into the lines here, but I'm telling you, I have faith in Reed. This is going to be so fun, though. I cannot wait. This game, the NFL, when they set this up, did we have any idea it was going to be so dramatic?
No, the Kelsey and Chris Jones things have definitely added a twist.
Oh, my gosh. It's almost as if the script is real. The NFL wrote a script.
I know. Well, we're going to get into our Super Bowl picks later. We're definitely going to talk about the script then. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're welcome to call in. We want to hear from you with the NFL kicking off tonight. Also coming up, Mike McCarthy has a new mantra for the Cowboys this season, and you've got to hear this. Is this going to make any difference? And quite frankly, doesn't make any sense. We'll get to that in just moments. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal, and law enforcement officers can tell you if you're driving high. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI, paid for by NHTSA. All right, it's NFL season is here. It's interesting. I probably listened to 40 people make their picks today, Maggie. There seems to be...
What are you, like, mainlining predictions?
No, you can't miss them. You turn on, everybody's making a prediction. There's a lot of consensus. You know, I think we all know the teams. We'll get into that later. It is curious. Not quite as many people as I thought might pick them, but the Cowboys are being picked sometime, and I think I know why now, because you told me before the show exactly what's going on there in Big D.
Well, let's get to our Cowboys Quickie. Mike McCarthy's got a new mantra, guys. Sit down, buckle your seatbelts. If you don't buy a hat, hold on to it. Carpe omnia. Embrace everything. Seize everything. This is the Mike McCarthy mantra. Seize everything. Not carpe diem, not seize the day. Perloff, the day is not big enough for the Dallas Cowboys. You got to seize everything.
You're the only person in America who listens to a word Mike McCarthy says.
Am I?
Dan Quinn and Micah Parsons single-handedly run that team. Everybody on earth knows that. Who cares what Mike McCarthy says? This is like what he said he watched videotape of every play of the offseason.
He did lie about that.
Yeah, this carpe, it feels like somebody's like, I got to figure out something to say here so someone thinks I'm actually the head coach. How about carpe omnia? And also, too,
Carpe me?
look at his face. Like, are you taking any sort of philosophical advice from that man?
This is what it sounded like.
The theme is Carpe Omnia, seize everything. So it's a good theme. I think themes are important. You know, they come to you at different points. It needs to illustrate where you feel your football team's at. You know, it's very, very difficult to win a Super Bowl in this league. There's no question about it. That's proven each and every year. You know, but sustaining success is, I think personally, in my experience, is a bigger challenge.
So that was kind of interesting there. Mike McCarthy kind of sounds like he may have Googled inspirational things to say to a football team like last night around 10 p.m.
Yeah. Do you want to know what an inspirational coach sounds like? How about this guy?
No, I don't feel weight. I feel wind underneath my freaking wings, man.
I'm telling you.
That's what I feel.
Truthfully,
Truthfully.
it uplifts you.
Absolutely.
All right, Dan Campbell, get out of our Cowboys.
I'm just
Quickie.
saying, you're exactly right. Mike McCarthy Googled inspirational theme notes or something. He sounds like he didn't believe a word of what he was saying. He didn't even sound like he knew what he was talking about. I'm starting to think he's a total fraud based on that comment.
Starting to think that's your Cowboys Quickie.
What do you
What
mean?
I say? I said embrace everything first. Seize everything.
So, you know, I think themes are a good thing, you know. So, see, remember in the movie, what's the movie where they stand on the desk and say Carpe Diem?
No, they say,
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Right.
Dead Poet Society.
What's the Carpe Diem part of isn't that also in Dead Poet Society?
Maybe. There might be a Carpe Diem part.
Anyway, they stand on the desk and they yell Captain or Captain, or they say something inspirational. That's the exact opposite. So, you know, I think themes are good to have, and I Googled this one, and it sounds...
And this came up. Listen, I'll give McCarthy this. It's a little bit more inspired than Samter's coach, Robert Saleh from the New York Jets, who went with the Mount Everest metaphor. Like, come on, we haven't heard that one. I watched Hard Knocks last night. It's like, well, it's like Mount Everest, and then here comes Everest up on the PowerPoint presentation. And we've only gotten to base camp. It's like,
I know.
Who's taking that seriously?
But, Saleh can deliver way better than McCarthy, though. We will give him that. Saleh looks like he plays a coach on TV. McCarthy looks like, I don't know what McCarthy looks like.
McCarthy kind of looks like a coach out of Central Casting, too, just a big one.
But when he opens his mouth, though, he doesn't have that TV projection like Dan Campbell.
He's a better coach than Saleh, though, which I don't know how much that's saying.
Well,
they're different.
But this is the first time Saleh's had a real good team around him. So, I mean, look at Saleh's quarterbacks up to this point.
Oh, that's been terrible. But that's partly their fault because they're the ones who took Zach Wilson. Okay, so that's the Cowboys. Now, I thought what was also interesting about what McCarthy said, Perloff, is he said, winning a Super Bowl is difficult, and we know that, but the harder thing is the sustained success. Now, that is true, right? That probably, I can see where he's coming from there, but it just further gives more credence to my theory that the Dallas Cowboys are more concerned with being relevant than they are with actually winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think Jerry desperately wants to win. I think, Jerry wants to win to the point where he probably does things that he shouldn't do. He probably puts his hands in. I think what's been the big problem with the Cowboys probably over the last 20 years? They haven't won a title. Because Jerry Jones is too interventionist, doesn't let the football play, people do his thing. I don't think that he's just like, I just want a good playoff team. I think he's really putting the pressure this time because he's 80. I think he only thinks about a Super Bowl. He's got everything else. There's nothing else. What good does he be relevant to right now? He's got all the money in the world. He's in the Hall of Fame. What does he gain from any of that? I
think that he gets the same satisfaction, same bottom line, maybe not satisfaction, but the same bottom line comes his way whether the Cowboys win the Super Bowl or whether or not they're relevant. And they're always relevant.
But bottom line,
and they put together good teams.
The money is irrelevant at this point of his life. He's never going to spend it.
Yeah, but have you ever met a billionaire who's not obsessed with money?
I think Jerry is way more obsessed with football than money. It's just based on the fact he's the only owner in the history of sports who talks about his sport every day as if he's a GM.
Well, that's also he's a salesman,
But he's way more. There's no other owner who's ever said, like, oh, I think we're good at left guard. I mean,
that's because he fancies himself a football person, which gets him in trouble.
I'm saying, and his ego thinks he's a great football person. I think he needs a Super Bowl. I mean, there's no way we'll ever definitively prove this, but I think he's desperate to go into that owner's room with a ring. Oh, my God. He'd love to hold it over, I don't know, Clark Hunt's head or something.
Yeah, lord it over Clark Hunt. Jeffrey Howell's in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio says McCarthy ain't getting up on no desks. Probably best for everybody that he just stays right on the ground, right on the floor, because that could be
okay. We're not making Mike McCarthy weight jokes here, are we?
Listen, I'm not making them. I'm just simply reading them from other people who are making them.
You said he looked like a coach out of Central Casting. I think I kind of like with those. Remember those? Did you guys have those coaches who wore the bike shorts? The coaches' shorts.
Oh, like way too short also.
Yeah, like Buddy Ryan used to wear.
And Parcells used to wear those.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy would have rocked those in the 80s. There is no doubt
I'm sure he did.
I feel like I've seen Mike McCarthy wearing them.
Was he on that great, he probably was on that great coaching staff with Mike Holmgren was the head coach, and there were 9 future head coaches beneath him, and they were all wearing those crazy coaching shorts. I'll find it. It's a great picture. And Mike Holmgren was a man who should not have been wearing those shorts, and he did.
Nope, definitely not. He shouldn't have been wearing them either. There's some bad fashion with coaches. You don't have to go back that far. It's really, really awful.
Well, I mean, at least it's not like Major League Baseball where they have to wear a uniform.
Yeah, which makes no sense. Jim Leland in a uniform. He's like smoking a pack of cigarettes in the middle of the game. Like, this is not an athlete we're looking at.
But can you imagine if Andy Reid walked out rocking a Chiefs uniform? I think he had to.
Like the punt, pass, and kick?
Oh, that would be great.
He'd look like both of the backup left tackles. I'm sorry. It's there. I don't mean it.
Oh, my God. I'm actually trying to Google and find a picture of Mike McCarthy in these shorts. And, my computer's probably wondering, man, what are you doing?
They're going to kick you off of that. You already can't get ESPN. Now they're just going to kick you off your network totally.
Yeah. I might use this picture. You know how you have to evoke images to whatever. I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, don't do that.
To make amorous situations last longer. That's Mike McCarthy in coaching shorts.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, we're all guys here.
Yeah, just a little guy talking about Mike McCarthy shorts. Anyway,
Sees everything. So
Yeah, thank you.
the other part of sees everything and carpe omnia is the metaphor of an empty picture frame. So apparently that's also what Mike McCarthy put into the room, an empty picture frame, because as he said, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and this is empty because it's all the possibilities are open for the Cowboys.
That's stupid.
I'm telling you, I don't know why guys try to reinvent the wheel here. The only type of motivational stuff that works is when, like, the mayor of Cincinnati calls your stadium Burrowhead or something like that. That's the only stuff that works is the doubters. The whole, like, visualization and climbing the mountain together and the empty picture frame, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
It's eyewash.
The empty picture frame could be your grandkid died. I mean, who knows?
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
terrible. I'm just saying, it's such a dumb, weird analogy. I mean, who knows what that means?
It just doesn't work. You just got to go back to the tried and true stuff.
I feel like
nobody believes in us.
The
Boom.
great coaches can come up with themes and mottos and little things that work. But some people are not cut out for that. And I feel like Mike McCarthy's out. It sounds like a total phony to me.
Carpe omnia.
Carpe
Yeah, that is
omnia.
I mean, people can have a blast with that if they end up losing some games.
I think when he says carpe omnia, which sees everything, he's really talking about the buffet.
Yeah, I just feel like Dan Quinn and Micah Parsons are sitting there saying, all right, just let him pretend he's the head coach of this football team. Because you know that I heard Micah Parsons had a theme for the team, something like he was talking about, he got me so fired up talking about the Cowboys defense.
Just leave it to the pros.
He's a motivator. He's a leader. Mike McCarthy is, I don't know what he is. But anyway, I'm very curious when we pick the divisions and
What
the
happens?
Super Bowl teams. What happens with the Big D with Dallas?
I read an op-ed today from Dallas in the Dallas Morning Telegram. Does that sound right?
Morning News. Probably.
No, it was the Telegram.
Fort Worth Star Telegram.
Fort Worth Star Telegram. Thank you.
Mac Engel?
It was. Did you read it?
No, but he's a columnist.
Yeah. Column today, Deion Sanders could be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I was like, brilliant. Wish I thought of it. Deion Sanders, he said it's just stupid enough to work, which is a funny way to put it. But Deion Sanders as the next coach of the Cowboys, if Mike McCarthy really face plants this year in the playoffs.
Do you believe that?
I wonder, are Dion and Jerry close?
Super close. And they went back and told a story about Dion and a contract negotiation that was going sideways. And Jerry Jones basically promised Dion lots of money. And Stephen Jones tried to intervene and even to the point, like, grab Jerry by the collar, say, what are you doing? We can't make it happen. And Jerry said, what are you going to do? Hit me? And he said, no, I'm not going to hit you. And Jerry ends up giving Dion like a $35 million contract, which at the time, was not what kickers get today. It was like huge money. It had like a $12 million bonus, and Dion became the highest paid defensive player in the league.
You know what's funny, though, about Cowboys coaches? Somebody like Dion, you'd think, oh, Dallas, they're the most high-profile team, the most visible team. They should have a lot of high-profile coaches, and they are the exact opposite. They've gone with and you know why? Because Jerry doesn't want anyone to steal his lightning and thunder.
Right.
So they've gone for look who
Parcells,
Well, since Parcells, yeah, and I was like, that's never happening again. So it's been Wade Phillips, Garrett, and McCarthy since Parcells. But
Dave Campo?
He had Campo before Parcells, Campo, Changali.
Oh, right.
Like I don't know. Dion would steal a lot of thunder from Jerry.
All of it.
Yeah, I don't know if Jerry really wants that. And, obviously Lincoln Riley, too. I don't even know if Jerry wants that. Because why did he hire Mike McCarthy? Nobody else wanted Mike McCarthy.
No, nobody did.
Jerry falls in love with somewhat average coaches.
Remember, Mike McCarthy stayed at his house.
Yeah, and J.C. Garrett basically stayed in his building for 10 years. None of us could figure out why.
That's also a reason why I think the Cowboys are okay with just being good and relevant.
That's good. Yeah, but to go to Dion would be such a departure. To go from Mike McCarthy to Dion would be interesting. I mean, listen, that's just the beginning of Dion's going to come here, Colin.
Oh, yeah. Dion's coming everywhere now. Every SEC team, everywhere. But one good point they made is Dion has said before he doesn't want to coach the pros. But where's college football going, right? Because Deion said, I don't want to be making less than someone in my locker room who doesn't love football as much as I do. Well, I mean, it's, insightful about an NFL locker room for sure. But the other part is, where's college football going? I mean, Deion's making $5.5 million now. I'm sure he'll get a pay raise and, whatever. But guys are making more and more money.
Yeah, and maybe
it's all pros now, basically at the college level. Sorry.
Maybe that changes too. His kids are in college, so when his son is in the quarterback, maybe the NFL will look more attractive.
That's true.
And maybe he'll want to coach his son in the NFL. I think that calculus could change big time for Deion.
Also, the really big money is still in the NFL. I mean, listen, Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh and those guys are making, Brian Kelly, obviously, they're making huge amounts. But, like, Belichick makes $20 million a year. What's Sean Payton making right now, like $17 million? If you strike at the right time, look at what Gruden got from the Raiders. I mean, you strike at the right time, you can really cash in as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to get paid as a college coach is to get fired. Then you're just then you're rolling
Get the golden parachute right out of there.
I do think college, you maybe have more longevity, but they say there's a lot more work with NIL now. Think about it. You have to recruit, and you have the transfer portal. So I think NFL looks more attractive to these guys than ever.
Oh, yeah. You're not just recruiting high school now. You're recruiting every roster in the FBS.
And you can't yell at your guys because they'll get recruited away. So that's annoying. Deion, I'm not sure where you stand on this, but I think Deion will at some point say, maybe the NFL could be for me. Because he obviously is a motivator.
Yeah, the one thing is you're going to have to go to a team that most likely is like very flawed. But listen, he went to Colorado.
He took over a one-win Colorado team.
I know. That's true. But he didn't know his son was going to play quarterback. So that does help.
Yeah.
And Travis Hunter is like a generational Shohei Ohtani of college football, as you said.
I think the money goes a lot further in college towns. I always wonder how Nick Saban and Dabo are going to spend all their money in Clemson and Tuscaloosa.
Well, I mean, it's only depends how expensive your taste is.
Well, even so,
you can find expensive stuff everywhere.
You can't pick up a check in a restaurant anywhere near your home. They're like no one makes.
Oh yeah, no one makes
Dabo or Nick Saban pay. So I think that they make a lot of money. I don't honestly. We should have gotten into coaching, Maggie. If we'd won a national title or two.
Yeah. Would you be Carpe Omnia motivating your team?
Carpe Omnia.
Carpe Omnia was something I just learned last night.
Wait, so is it a real thing or is he?
It's a real saying.
Yeah, by the way, Carpe Diem was like one of the main lines in Dead Poet Society. I just looked up. Remember, he looks at the photo and he says, "What are they saying?" They're saying Carpe Diem. Anyone remember that?
I don't remember my captain. Captain, my captain.
Yeah, the whole Carpe Diem was definitely a theme of the movie, but the Captain, my captain was
what they stood on the desk.
Yeah. Anyway, I am not.
Stu, have you ever seen Dead Poet Society?
No shot. No.
No shot.
Tell you right now, Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society, the exact opposite of Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys head coach.
Very opposite.
Sees everything.
Yeah, see this. So I think themes are a good thing,
Will it work? Who knows? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, we got the game of the weekend in college football. We're monitoring the Travis Kelce situation very closely. Chiefs, Lions tonight with Kelce listed as questionable. We got a lot more after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flag.
Well, the NFL season opens tonight with the Lions and Chiefs in Kansas City. Andy Reid's team coming off its second Super Bowl victory in 4 years. The Lions have never gotten there and are hoping to change that this year. Expectations in Detroit are high, optimism even higher after wins in 8 of the last 10 to close out last season. And MVP Patrick Mahomes has certainly taken note about how far they've come.
Play hard the entire game. No matter if it's a good play, bad play, they're going to come back that next snap and play extremely hard. And then they do a lot of great stuff scheme-wise. They had a lot of young guys playing last year. You could see even throughout the season how they grew and got better and better.
Arrowhead Stadium, one of the NFL's loudest, and the defending champs have given them lots of reasons to cheer. The Chiefs have won 7 straight division titles, and Mahomes 5-0 in season openers. However, it won't be easy tonight with Travis Kelce doubtful nursing a bone bruise in his knee. He is, according to reports, going to try to test that knee pregame, and Chris Jones is out while he holds out. 2 Americans will try to advance the women's final at the U.S. Open. Coco Gauff, who's never made it this far, will face Karolina Muchova in one semifinal tonight, followed by Madison Keys and Arina Sabalenka. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Perloff. Perloff just scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious about this. You've been bragging about this new toy you have.
Yeah, I got an air fryer, and I made my kid chicken tenders this morning before he went to school.
And I said, he ate chicken tenders for breakfast?
And I said, no, I made the chicken tenders this morning, and then I cut them up, put them in his lunchbox, and then I sent him to school.
Right, so what time does he eat lunch?
I don't know, noon? What time do kids eat lunch?
So the chicken is just sitting there for 4.5 hours.
Yeah, but is that wrong? Is that bad?
If I got you a chicken sandwich that was unrefrigerated and just left it there and you ate it 5 hours later, that would
I don't think I'm going to die. I'm not going to get sick.
Probably not.
I mean, I've been making up chicken tenders for like 2 years and doing this. A year, I guess.
Why do you need a fancy air fryer for chicken tenders for a kid?
No,
they don't even like. They just want like the traditional kind. I'm sure.
I know. I try to make them because I try to make it so it's healthier.
Yeah, but he's 4. His body processes things so fast.
I know it's not even worth it. 855-212-4CBS. I didn't even occur to me that maybe I'm poisoning my child. Let's go to the phones. Nathan is in LA. He's got a thought about week 1 in the NFL. Nathan, what's up, dude?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Excellent. What's up?
So I wanted to throw out a few potentially shocking results from week 1 and get your thoughts on which one might be plausible or totally impossible.
Okay, give us your biggest one right out the gate.
Well, there's 3 of them, but one is Detroit wins by more than a touchdown.
Now, I'm on Detroit. If Kelsey is going to be compromised, there's no Chris Jones. I said it's best to just take the money line at this point. I think as far as value, instead of just going with the points at 4.5, but by more than a touchdown, even that's a little rich for me. But I'm basically saying the same thing.
Okay. I don't buy that,
Number
but give me
2,
your second one.
The Jets lose by 20.
No,
that's not going to happen. Nathan, I can't get you there because the Jets played the Bills close even before they had Aaron Rodgers. Nathan, thank you for the phone call.
He didn't want to hear the third one.
I guess not. I don't know. He left.
No.
We love Nathan. That was a solid call. More than a touchdown for the Lions. I mean, I guess I'm saying the same thing, right? If I'm saying I'm going to take the money line instead of the points, I'm kind of
even
saying
though
that.
it's one thing to say I take the money line. It's another to say to win more by 7 against Kansas City.
It's a little rich.
Yeah, that feels. Then again, if it's a shootout, definitely could happen. I'm very curious too. Without Chris Jones, like, what is Kansas City going to do on defense?
It's a great question.
I mean, they're going to blitz, but I don't think Goff's been playing a while. He's really good against the blitz, so I have no idea. Like, how do you make up for the lack of manpower? But listen, they couldn't stop the Eagles a single drive in the Super Bowl, and they won the game. They can outscore their opponents. So what you're saying, which makes perfect sense, is that Travis Kelce means you can't go nuclear and score 48 points.
I just think he's such a third down. He keeps so many drives alive. Like, it's just going to look different. And it did look a bit different without Tyreek Hill because they didn't have like a burner guy who was just insane with the skill set of Hill. But yeah, Mahomes can just distribute the ball. But where does he always go on third down? It's always to Kelsey.
Yeah,
it feels like it.
Yeah, then he finds it. Then you cover everyone and he hits Justin Watson or some random dude.
What do you think about the idea that the Bills would win by 20? I can't get behind that. Like, again, Bills-Jets is going to be Monday night. I think that's going to be a super tight game. Bills don't play particularly well when they come to New York is the first part in MetLife Stadium. And 2, the Jets defense is really, really effective against Josh Allen.
I think we all know what's going to happen in this game. It's going to be Josh Allen tries to do everything for the Bills, and it's going to be a close game.
Yep.
How many times is he going to run in this game, Maggie?
But that's like he got sacked like 7 or 8 times the last time they played. Against the Jets.
Yeah. I feel like he's going to try and step up because I think the Jets can cover too with Sauce on Diggs, I assume. And then so to move the ball, they're gonna have to rely on the old reliable, which is Josh Allen scrambling.
Yeah, which you're also running into one of the maybe best defensive lines in the league this year besides Philly and San Francisco.
Yeah. But you hope that they over pursue.
Right.
And
he escapes.
Because I'm not sure the Bills can block the Jets up front.
They can't. They couldn't last year.
Yeah. And I think the Jets are probably even a little better on defense.
Yeah, I'm not predicting a Bills blowout by any stretch there. Let's go to Pete. He's in Wisconsin. Hi, Pete.
Hey, Maggie. How you doing today?
Doing great. What's up?
I called him Make Perloff Day for once. I usually disagree with him, but I got to tell him he was absolutely right about the Dead Poets Society. He nailed it right down to the scene. Robin Williams was showing all the boys the trophy case from all the past victories that the great teams from the past had at school. And as they're all crouching down looking at the pictures, he's standing behind them whispering, Carpe Diem.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting the
Pete,
chills.
I feel like I was watching the movie.
I'm getting the chills just hearing it. It's the most powerful scene. You see all these black and white photos, and he says, you know what they're saying? Carpe diem.
I got to be honest, though, not the most powerful Robin Williams movie scene of all time. We all know what that is.
Miss Doubtfire?
No. It's not your fault, Will. It's not your fault.
Oh, no, I
Good Will
disagree.
Hunting.
No. Pete, you're with me. Dead Poet Society, better than that, right?
That's one of his best acting showings ever.
It's not your fault to almost become a joke.
A joke, I know, but if you're actually watching, Pete, thank you for the call, pal. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I was going to say weekend, but we still have a while for that. In terms of will bring a tear to your eye, if you are just sit down, you're watching Good Will Hunting, like you watch it from the beginning, and you're getting to that scene, it will make you cry. It's Not Your Fault, Will, is one of the most intense movie scenes.
I hear you. Okay.
Heartfelt.
It's good. But I also feel like that scene where he says he had to see a girl in a bar kind of steals from that, too, because that's also talked about.
Completely ad-libbed. That was improv.
No, really?
That was not written into the script. Matt Damon talks about it all the time that he added that randomly, and they're just like, oh, man, we need to put this in the movie. But the best scene from that movie isn't even the It's Not Your Fault. It's when they're sitting by the water, and he's like, I bet you've never looked up at the Sistine Chapel and smelled what it's like in there, and I bet you've never held your friends, whatever, like you're a smart kid, but you've never done this. You write me a sonnet. That's the best scene. That's amazing. Gives me chills every time.
How about How Do You Like Them Apples? Another good film.
That's another great one.
Yeah. And
what are we doing here, guys? We got football tonight. We can't be talking about Robin Williams' best scenes and Dead Poet Society and Good Will Hunting.
What about Good Morning Vietnam?
No, we're not going through the Robin Williams IMDb. No.
We're all going to watch football tonight. Let's talk Robin Williams.
Yeah, the football's the given.
It is funny about Robin Williams, and I never thought about this. Man, he had a lot of good dramatic roles because he's Mr. Funny Guy. If you want to go down a YouTube hole, watch a Robin Williams on late night shows. It was on Letterman. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Unbelievable. He's like the best guest of all time.
Well, most insane. You have no idea what he's about to do.
Yeah, but I think he's always funny, though. Well, Farley, by the way, was also the greatest guest. So those two guys, to me, are the two best late show guests.
Not to keep down the Robin Williams rabbit hole.
Yeah,
but
we've got football guys.
I know, but if you watch Friends, Robin Williams and Billy Crystal made a random appearance. They were just shooting something on a set next door. They just showed up in the middle of Friends one day. They're like, we want to be in the scene. They're like, all right, just go. There was no script. They just went in there and ad-libbed the entire scene. And Robin Williams, with Billy Crystal right next to him and the entire Friends cast, just ad-libbed this entirely brilliant, hilarious, incredibly comedically brilliant scene, and then just walked out, bowed, and that was the scene.
Did it make the final cut? I don't remember that.
It was in it was like the beginning of one of the episodes. And it was completely ad-libbed.
You want to know what that sounds like?
Billy Crystal says, I had no idea what he was doing. I just vamped with him.
That sounds like, and may he rest in peace, but sometimes it sounds like a Kobe story. Like every Kobe story is now believable because it's Kobe, right? The whole blackouts that, working out till you black out. Kobe admitted that wasn't true. It was just something to build the lore of Kobe, and it worked. That sounds like one of those things, like no one would question it because it's Robin Williams and Billy Crystal, but it doesn't sound true.
Wait, you're saying it doesn't sound true that Robin Williams and Billy Crystal
would show up to the set of Friends
and ad-lib a scene? I don't know. It's not like Friends with Shakespeare. I think they could ad-lib a scene. That doesn't quite sound Kobe-ish to me.
No, but it's like, that's Friends, one of the biggest, sitcoms of the time. You don't just show up to the set. Like, this is not how Hollywood works.
Okay. I don't think Mike's story sounds that far-fetched. My favorite guest appearance, though, is I guess he was the fact that I watched the last thing on the last Friends episode, that Paul Rudd was on the last episode. Like, he was a major part, and he's by far the most famous person out of that group now. Anyway, and Brad Pitt was also, wasn't he on Friends?
Yeah, they had so many star cameos.
He was married to Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. All their boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and whatever made the show.
I can't believe we're talking about this when we have football in a mere matter of hours. NFL football, Chiefs, Lions, and you guys want to go into Patch Adams.
By the way, Death to Smoochie, really underrated Robin Williams movie.
Carpe Omnia.
That's the Mike McCarthy version. Coming up, we're going to make our playoff and Super Bowl predictions. Also, we got Texas and Bama this weekend. Who needs this win more? Get to that. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Talking about sports triggers. Mike is in Pennsylvania, has got one.
We never should have let Jimmy Butler go.
No.
Come playoff time?
I was tickled by it. He's got a laugh that makes me laugh. People said Kawhi Leonard in the chat.
Yes. Very much. Wow. Maggie, I think the Sixers are going to win the NBA championship this year.
The Bills will win a Super Bowl.
Don't say that.
The Jets will have a solid, dependable, steady season with no drama.
That's so good.
Can I just do one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Mets are going to figure it out.
That's just mean. We're just piling on Maggie.
It's so easy.
I threw in the Jets, too.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
We get football tonight. Travis Kelce still questionable for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Jones, nowhere to be found. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff across the country on CBS Sports Radio. You want to watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. You can find us on the free Odyssey app. You can find us on Sirius XM channel 158. So, yes, you're missing two of the three most important people on the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, you get a Lions team coming to town that for the first time in a decade actually has expectations and could deliver, Perloff, on those expectations. It's an awesome matchup.
Yeah, it's great. Listen, I know you're nervous about the Chiefs without Travis Kelce.
I am.
But look at some of what they've done already to adjust. They brought up Matt Bushman off the practice squad.
Well,
the Bushman.
All right, I'm out. I'll leave now.
So
the
immediately,
Bushman's here.
We know Noah Gray because he's been on the team, and Blake Bell used to be obviously a college quarterback. Matt Bushman, don't know much about him. He's on the practice squad of the Raiders in 2021, but he's 27 years old. I'm like, he's only been... Apparently, he went on a 3-year mission because he was at BYU.
Got it.
So, BYU tight ends, Andy Reid. He's son of Chad Lewis, former NFL player. I'm telling you.
Anytime touchdown for Perloff?
The Chiefs are going to have some random dude have a huge catch tonight. And it's going to be a shootout, and it's going to be great, and I cannot wait. I hope the Lions offense just goes to town, too. I want 54-51, like when Jared Goff was the Rams quarterback and Patrick Mahomes was with Chiefs. I want nothing but points tonight.
Well, I think you're going to get that. But listen, I just think without Kelce, who it's not the same as losing Tyreek Hill for a season when you let him go. Andy Reid had all the time in the world to think, do we want to bring back Tyreek Hill at this number or contract he wants? Or do we want to, and how are we going to make up for that? They had they had a game plan. This is Travis Kelce, the most important person on your offense, goes down with a knee injury 2 days before your game. That's different. That's not what Andy Reid is used to. And I know he's a great coach, and they could win this game, but I'm going to put my money on the Lions here. I think that it's a perfect opportunity for the Lions. And in fact, if the Lions can't beat the Chiefs without Travis Kelce and without Chris Jones, then maybe I'm starting to wonder a little bit about the Lions, but we have a long season to go.
Oh, my gosh. Not at all. In the sense that, this is the NFC, Maggie. You could lose this game by 3 touchdowns and still be the third best team in the NFC. You have to admit, to me, that is a key factor here, why the Lions have no pressure. I think they're playing with total house money, except for the huge audience. They can easily afford to lose this game and still be in great shape. I think they're going to destroy that division and make the playoffs. So maybe they're fast and loose tonight and confident because of their coach. Now, again, if it's a shootout, though, and you're picking the Lions here, I totally get it. But if it's a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, you always got to point to Mahomes, given everything being equal.
Listen, he's the best. There's a reason he's the best, but in this particular instance, because of the Kelce news, that's why I'm leaning Lions tonight. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So you're welcome to call in, talk to us about the NFL season kicking off. Of course, we got a massive college game this weekend, a couple. Colorado and Nebraska is now must-watch because of Deion Sanders and because of the Colorado Buffaloes pulling an upset over TCU. So that's sort of a no-brainer. The other one, which is weird to say.
And by the way, you know that Nebraska's going to ugly that game up, and it's going to be 19-13.
Well, that's the only shot they have. And just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
Nebraska, they make every game aesthetically unpleasing, unfortunately. But, sorry, go ahead, the other one.
No, they have to run the ball. I mean, if they get into a shootout with the Buffaloes, we already saw what happened. TCU saw what happened there. Buffaloes can put up tons of yards and tons of points.
Nebraska hasn't gotten in a shootout since 1998. There's no shootout. This is a Cornhuskers here.
Well, if they run the ball, they could have success, but this one's going to be tough. Anyway, So that's one of the games of the weekend. The other for college football has got to be Alabama and Texas. This was a phenomenal game a year ago in Texas. A big what if. Had Quinn Ewers not gotten hurt in that game, what could have been? But now here comes Alabama, who took down to the wire to determine that Jalen Milroe was going to be their starter. And you have a Texas team who's coming into town, Perloff, with Quinn Ewers, who looked fine, I guess, in the first week against Rice. Wasn't amazing for Texas. And this is the game of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to tell with these sort of preseason college games what they mean. Now, last year's game was so low scoring. Alabama jumped out early. And then with Bryce Young in quarterback, could not score in Texas. And I was shocked by that because everybody scores on Texas. Sark, to me, the one person on the big hot seat in this game is Steve Sarkisian. He obviously last year knew exactly what Alabama was running and told his defense to stop it. But when is something going to happen with this program? Other than landing Arch Manning, when are they going to get that big
signature win?
Yeah, I feel like this is their opportunity. Alabama clearly, despite what happened last week, is clearly down. I mean, listen, Jalen Milroe is a great running quarterback. They don't have those Alabama receivers. Every opportunity here for Texas, and that should be a good thing, but I feel like there's a little pressure on Sark. If they lose this, I think the Longhorns lose their steam.
I think there's tons of pressure on Sark. I think there is pressure on Alabama here, for sure.
Well, right, but there's always, I mean.
I think there's pressure on Alabama in terms of the playoff. We saw what happened with them last year. 2 losses, they could not get in. And you talk about the rest of the schedule for Alabama. I mean, it's one of the toughest in the nation. So to me, Alabama's got to be feeling tons of pressure here too, even though they are going to be at home. And did you see they are returning the favor to Texas, who had sort of banished their marching band? You know, they wouldn't give them good enough seats last year at Texas for the world's most expensive marching band, where they call it the $1 million marching band. So now Alabama's returning the favor, and Texas's marching band is sitting in the nosebleeds. A little pettiness. I don't know. Fill in a little flavor for you guys. No one seems to care about this.
No, I honestly, I just blacked out the last 30 seconds. What are you talking about with this marching band?
There's a pettiness that's going on. Bottom line, there's a wars being waged on the field and off.
The only band I care about is the band that's on the field. The band is on the field. That's the only band that really matters.
So
cut his mic.
So last year it was 2019. Alabama won. It's a 54-point over/under.
Yeah.
You saw Ewers. I watched Ewers. They said the funniest thing about him. Quinn Ewers formerly was a Joe Dirt super recruit, #1 recruit in the country. Had a mullet. So he cut his hair, and the announcers were saying, "Well, now that he cut his hair, he seems like a more serious quarterback." I get that logic, but if he struggles against Alabama, I think everyone's going to say, "Oh, he shouldn't have cut his hair. His hair, he was Samson. His hair was his power." Yes. So I feel like he was fun-loving, Texas gunslinging quarterback before, and now he's Mr. Business. I don't know. It's a huge game for Quinn Ewers. So to me, there's way more pressure on Ewers and Sark. Alabama's at home. I think they're pretty confident. They're probably looking ahead to the SEC. This is going to be really interesting. Then again, say Texas loses this game. There's pressure in the sense that they can't, if they run the Big 12, their last year in the Big 12, will they get in? Because a one-loss Big 12 team got in last year, but they had already gone through the season undefeated. Yeah. I don't know. That feels tough to get in.
Yeah, it does feel tough. And I think they also added pressure of you are joining the SEC next year. So, let's see if you can hang tough and hang close with another SEC, with an SEC team back-to-back years.
I think the fact that they did it last year, it does. And just being Texas and being that high-profile team. But Sark, who I'm a big fan of, he's got to deliver at some point. Otherwise, they're not going to let him coach Arch, right? Like, he's got to win
but
this.
see, that's the thing. He's the one who landed Arch. Doesn't he get a bit of a grace period there? Because if you change coaches, Arch could hit the portal.
Yeah. Is Arch tied to Sark? That's a great question. Or is he tied to the program?
I think he's got to be tied to Sark, right? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Like, if they had a defensive-minded coach, do you think that Arch Manning would have landed there?
No. And you're right, Caleb Williams followed Lincoln Riley to USC, so that makes a lot of sense. So the quarterback and coach would be tied at the hip.
Speaking of Caleb Williams, Nate is in Iowa, wants to talk about the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. Hey, Nate.
Hey, Maggie. Hey, Andrew. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Hey, well, you guys I do want to talk about Caleb Williams, but Andrew, the Vikings are still going to rule the North until the Lions take it, bud. Sorry, man. I want to talk a little bit about Caleb Williams and, his comments his dad made the other day about, well, if the NFL, if the draft doesn't look good next year, then Caleb doesn't need to come out of the draft.
Right.
What's looking good? I'm sorry. Well, when you think about it, okay, you talked about Lincoln Riley. The last two quarterbacks to come out of Lincoln Riley's system being Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray.
Yep. Kyler
Murray went into an actual NFL system that was tailor-made for him in Cliff Kingsbury.
Yep.
And that offense, you think about it. Baker Mayfield goes to Cleveland behind an all-pro offensive line, two stud running backs, couldn't make it work with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Do you start to wonder, is it truly is it the teams that they're going to, or is it the quarterback coming out of a system?
Right.
You think about it. Even going back to, being in Iowa, I always catch crap for this. I'm a Gators fan in Iowa, so Urban Meyer, Ryan Day's offense.
Yeah.
You go back and you look at the quarterbacks that have came out of the Urban Meyer, Ryan Day stables.
Yeah, not a lot of success in the NFL.
Not a lot of success either.
Right. It's interesting.
Well, but Jalen Hurts, though, dude. And by the way, you can't be a Gators fan in Iowa. You have to suffer through Iowa State with the rest of us. That garbage game.
Yeah. Well, and there again, you kind of led into it a little bit in that, you look at Ryan Day's offenses, C.J. Stroud, it's still the jury's out on him, but when you're throwing to wide receivers who are 5 to 10 yards open on plays, you look good no matter. You got 5-star receivers throwing it all over the place.
Yep.
It's just kind of. I appreciate you taking my call this afternoon, but I think right now looking at Caleb Williams to Drake May next year. Drake May put on a show last week against South Carolina, and I think when you look at the overall level of competition, the ACC this year is going to be, I think, very, very stout, and I think Drake May is going to have a good year this year. So,
Nate, thank you for the phone call, giving us something to chew on there about. The thing is about Caleb, and I get his point. So Kyler Murray, in fairness to Kyler Murray, did win Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And in fairness to Baker Mayfield, did win a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, they've had some moments of success, but I get Nate's overall point. They're not juggernauts in the NFL right now.
No, Jalen Hurts.
But Jalen Hurts is split because Alabama can claim Jalen Hurts and Oklahoma can claim Jalen Hurts.
Alabama can't really claim. The Jalen Hurts we know now is after 1 year of learning how to pass at Oklahoma. He was a different quarterback, and he's always said it, Lincoln Riley changed the trajectory of my career. So, and also, too, you're right, there's been enough success there with Baker and Kyler. It's not remember Jeff Tedford, the old Cal coach?
Yep.
Before Aaron Rodgers, it was bust, system, and then he had Aaron Rodgers, so you never know. But I don't think that's fair to do to him, to say that everybody who comes out of Lincoln is a system guy.
Also, and I think, isn't Caleb Williams supposed to be the best out of all these guys? Better than Kyler, better than Baker. Caleb Williams is.
Well, yeah, Kyler was obviously the number one recruit his year. It was Kyler Murray is considered the greatest high school football player of all time.
Caleb
I'm just saying,
is being talked about as a better pro than what people thought Kyler was going to be.
Yeah,
and the ceiling's high for Kyler.
Kyler's 5'8".
Yeah,
no. You're right. Caleb Williams, I don't think Caleb Williams was a bigger recruit than Kyler Murray, but he was certainly a more pro-ready guy. Yeah, honestly, Hurts is the claim to fame, but I think Caleb Williams is going to be the second claim to fame. He's going to be good.
Good point, though, also by Nate, which is what situation is going to be good? That's the whole thing. When you're going
everything except Arizona.
Well, yeah, I guess if you're going to the Rams,
the Rams is amazing. The Bucks could be amazing. You could bring Lincoln with you. What's wrong with the Bucks?
I don't think he would leave. He would leave USC after 2 years.
He left Oklahoma,
but not after 2 years.
What's the difference?
I don't know. Didn't they just pay him a ton?
What are you going to do?
And can't he just take the next guy and the next guy and keep, just sort of crafting these quarterbacks? And
yeah, but what if Tampa Bay calls and said, "Hey, you want to coach Caleb Williams next year in the NFL?"
I know the last time a college coach went to Tampa Bay, it was Greg Schiano. That didn't go very well.
Yeah, but I mean, that's probably ancient history to him. I think the opportunities are great. I disagree with you guys. I think Vegas is a great opportunity. I think I would want to coach there. Look at that stadium.
No, I know Vegas, but the problem isn't who's going to be left on the team when you get to it.
I think
is Devontae Adams going to be there? Is Max Crosby going to be there? I don't know.
Maybe if you're a coach, say I want a clean slate. I don't know. I think that Caleb could go to some interesting spots. I think this is all about Arizona. I think the whole thing is about avoiding Arizona because I don't know. Then again, is Arizona the worst place to go? It's indoors. A lot of quarterbacks have had some success there. I don't know.
You want to play for Jonathan Gannon?
I'm assuming he's already gone.
He's going to be one out. Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free. It's sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone's free battery testing and charging is available for free at your local AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Okay. Drum roll. Please. Well, not really. Coming up next, sorry, Stu, I didn't mean to make you scramble. Coming up next, Perloff and I give our NFL season predictions, AFC, NFC, and who's making it to the Super Bowl and who's winning the whole darn thing. We'll get to that in just moments. Don't move. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. It is time, Maggie. We've come to the end of this long, hard off season. It's time for some football.
Has it been that long and hard of an off season? It's been fun.
I feel like I've been waiting for this season to come here for 3 months. There have been so many storylines we're so into that we've been killing this offseason. Like, finally, we get to see some of these come to fruition.
Okay, so we are going to pick our division winners, and then we're going to pick our Super Bowl pick. We're going to do that all now.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll go first, AFC.
Start with the East. Who's winning the division?
We'll do division winners and wild cards. So I have the Jets winning the AFC East, Bills wild card. AFC North, I have the Bengals winning it. Steelers, Ravens, wild card. Jags, South. A team called the Kansas City Chiefs, despite your worries. AFC West. So that's easy. Those are my division winners. Who do you got?
Okay, so I actually have the Miami Dolphins winning the AFC East. I think everything's going to come together for the Dolphins. I have the Jets and Bills as the wild card team. So 3 wild card teams for me out of the AFC East, stacked division. In the North, I have Cincinnati winning the division. We do not bet against Joe Burrow around here. We've learned our lesson too many times. And I have Baltimore making it in as a wild card team. In the South, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win. And in the West, the Kansas City Chiefs. I noticed here, you and I both do not have the Chargers making the playoffs.
Yeah, the Chargers, that killed me. I think a lot of us, it's a numbers game in the AFC. There's so many good teams. They are a good team for sure. But listen, if you have to think about, which team's going to implode and suffer 900 serious injuries, boom, the Chargers.
Remind me who you have in the North. You have Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And you have Miami not making the playoffs.
So Miami and the Chargers are my near misses. Yep. And New England, by the way. I think I looked hard at New England. I think they're going to hover right around 500. With all that talent in the AFC, I don't think you're going to have a lot of 11, 12-win teams. I think you're going to have more 10-win teams. So they're all going to kind of beat each other up.
I agree with you. I also looked very long and hard here at the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
A team that, on paper, has so much talent. And if Deshaun Watson can be what he was in Houston, he says he's going to be better than what he was in Houston. we might all regret sleeping on the Browns. The Browns are the value pick. The Broncos would be a value pick. If you are somebody who thinks that despite what the public perception is, that those two teams can have big seasons, you could end up making a lot of money.
Yeah, but listen.
Riding those teams.
So we basically just included 11 teams in the playoff picture.
That's the problem. It's easier to pick teams who have no shot in the AFC than teams that actually have a shot in the AFC.
Yeah, I think we're kind of aligned on our thinking. So when are we going to do our who wins the conference pick? Because that's really where I think we're really going to really differ.
Okay, so you want to do AFC Championship game? What it's going to be? Or just who's going to the Super Bowl?
Who's coming out of the AFC?
Okay, go ahead. Wait, why don't we do our NFC and then we'll do Super Bowl pick?
Okay. I can tell you right now, we're going to be very different on the AFC. But all right, NFC.
Okay, NFC.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, and the NFC East, I might as well keep the music going. Why not? The NFC East, I have your Philadelphia Eagles. Excuse me, I have the Dallas Cowboys winning the division. I have the Philadelphia Eagles making it as a wild card. Now, this is tough because Dallas's schedule is not easy. But I do believe that this is a better version of the Dallas Cowboys. Someone different always wins the NFC East, so I'm just going to go with history there. The NFC North, I have I have Chicago winning the division, and I have Detroit in as a wild card.
Okay.
Chicago winning, Detroit as a wild card. In the NFC West, I have Seattle winning the division and San Francisco as a wild card. And in the South, I have Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
There you go.
That's interesting. I go Cowboys also NFC East. I think everybody's 12-5. They're 12-5 every year. Cowboys like to go on runs where they have the same record 3 years in a row. So I think they're 12-5. I have the Eagles as a wild card, a very good wild card. Then my surprise wild card team is in the NFC East. Big Blue.
Wow.
Let's go. Your former offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, reigning coach of the year. I think he's a good coach. I think he has more guys. The NFC North, I'm going chalk. I can't believe you don't believe the Detroit Lions hype. Oh, my gosh.
I have them going as the wild card.
Oh, that's true. Two teams out of the NFC North. That is against the grain. I like it. I have the NFC South. I vacillated with the Falcons and the Saints. Listen, there's so much more experience in New Orleans right now. I'm going with the older team. I have no idea what Derek Carr, who we call the Bermuda Triangle of quarterback evaluation.
Yep.
No idea what he's going to do here. And I do not like their head coach, Dennis Allen, very much. But they are just the older, more experienced team. I think they get the 9-8 and get out of here. So I go 49ers in the AFC West, and then I have the Seahawks as my wild card team. Flip-flop, go on yours.
There you go. Okay, so I'm going with a little more of the upstart Atlanta Falcons. Like, could this offense and be something that, I don't know, we haven't, seen before? They have a lot of interesting playmakers. I know a lot of people are questioning Desmond Ridder. That's fair, totally fair, but that could be a lot of fun. And then I think in the West, most people have this combination, right? Because Arizona is outright tanking, and it looks like the Rams could be too. So we have.
Well, I told you I looked at a lot of picks. Most people have the Niners, but there are a lot of people who pick the Seahawks to win that division, and a lot of people have. So I think what that says, people believe in Geno Smith, and I do too.
And the team, and how they got better. And
I think it was really Geno. The team, yes, the team did get better, but Geno Smith was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. That is, I think we're all maybe underestimating what a miracle that is, because he did nothing for 8 years.
He was passing like a 70% clip.
Yes. And his he had, I think, 30 touchdowns to a handful of interceptions. And they look like that team definitely got better, right? I think we both agree on that. So they're very exciting. Okay. Let's talk about Super Bowl picks.
Okay.
Who's going first? I'll go first.
All right. The floor is yours, sir.
I think I agree with you. There are a lot of AFC contenders, but it is very easy for me to pick apart those those contenders. Kansas City has had a run of health. Even with Patrick Mahomes getting hurt, I feel like they are about to find the banana peel. I don't know what it is. There is a reason the universe does not allow repeat champions in the NFL. It's usually injuries or some kind of problem. And we've already seen 2 problems in KC. What else do you need? So Chris Jones holding out, Travis Kelce banged up. That's enough. I'm off the beam with Kansas City. So I'm knocking them out. The team I seriously looked at was the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I think their defense is great,
but no one's really picking them.
I know, and I thought, that's a juicy pick. I think the Bills are a little bit of a problem for them because they're both good teams. But I decided, you know what? Talk is cheap, Maggie. I could sit here all summer and I can talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers as a potential Super Bowl contender.
Look at you.
I can talk about them, but then I can look at history. And another young Steelers quarterback named Ben Roethlisberger, who in his second year led the Pittsburgh Steelers to the promised land. All I know is their defense with T.J. Watt on the field is awesome. All I know is their skill position players challenge anyone in the NFL. All I know is their coach kicks ass. Mike Tomlin is super organized, super intense. He doesn't need any phony mantras like Mike McCarthy in Dallas. He's Mike Tomlin.
Carpe Omnia.
I think that the AFC is going to beat each other to smithereens, and I think the Steelers sneak into the wild card and then just somehow find a way to win games in the AFC playoffs. Kenny Pickett, breakout year. Let's go, Pittsburgh. That's
Wow.
my AFC team.
Can I also add something on top of yours?
Yes.
Last time the Jets were on Hard Knocks, made it to the AFC Championship game and lost to the Steelers, right?
Yeah, Jets Steelers AFC title game, with the Bengals also being in the AFC title games. I like that. And by the way, I also looked at the Ravens. I just, you're playing an injury game, and with Lamar being injured the last 2 seasons, I thought that was a big factor. So, Cincinnati, do you want me to do my NFC, or you want to go to your AFC?
Do your NFC.
NFC.
Is this going to be an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl?
How can I not pick the Eagles? I mean, I have eyes. I mean, listen, you can say it's a hometown thing, but pull up their roster. Jalen Hurts, MVP, Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. We don't have that much time, and we don't need that much time because they should have won the Super Bowl last year. It's a rule of unfinished business. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, the all-Philadelphia Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Sign me up. Not all Philadelphia, all Pennsylvania.
All Pennsylvania, right?
Yes. This is going to be really good, and, it's going to be a presidential election year, and everyone is campaigning in Philadelphia like hard, so we're going to get a lot of action on this one. I'm going Eagles-Steelers.
Wow.
Philly wins.
Inspired, Perloff. I do like it. In Philly, there's just going to be so much Pennsylvania in our lives if that's the Super Bowl and then going into the election with that swing state. Oh, boy.
By the way, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh are nowhere near each other. There's 7 other NFL teams closer to Philadelphia than Pittsburgh, but we'll call it a rivalry. Why not?
All right. For me, AFC. Not going to go with my hometown Buffalo Bills, guys. I just can't do it. But I'm looking at all these teams and how they're going to beat up on each other, and I'm looking at their schedules. And one team's schedule is harder than the next team's schedule, is harder than the next team's schedule. And I'm thinking the team that's going to really benefit here is the team that's going to get the number 1 overall seed, that's going to get that very elusive bye, because only the number 1 seeds get a bye now. They're going to be healthy, and they're going to be ready to go. And the team that has the path to the most wins in the AFC, guys, it's sitting there right in front of us. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to the Super Bowl from the AFC. They've got everything breaking for them. Even all the tough games that they play are at home. They get San Francisco at home. They get Cincinnati and Baltimore both at home. They play Buffalo in England, but they're there for 2 weeks in a row, and they play Atlanta first and then Buffalo. They're going to be totally adjusted, body clock. The only tough game at Cleveland in December. This is a team that could go to 12 wins because of the division they play in. Jacksonville's going to the Super Bowl from the AFC, and then from the NFC. Guys, Carpe Omnia. This is it. This is the year, finally, for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm buying in. Not going to be Perloff's Eagles because history says the team that loses the Super Bowl does not go back to the Super Bowl the next year. I'm not a San Francisco believer. I think the Christian McCaffrey injury stuff is going to come back. I think they have uncertainty at quarterback. I need to see that. And I don't believe in any other team in the NFC. If it's not going to be the Eagles and it's not going to be San Francisco, I got to go with Dallas. It's almost like process of elimination. Jacksonville, Dallas in the Super Bowl, Las Vegas, book it.
Yeah.
Dallas wins.
Carpe Omnia.
Carpe Omnia.
I would say Dallas Cowboys and Jacksonville Jaguars in Las Vegas. If you were lucky enough to go to that Super Bowl, enjoy it.
Would be the most random Super Bowl.
No, because the world's definitely ending right after that. That is, if there's ever been a sign of the apocalypse Super Bowl, it'd be the Jacksonville Jaguars playing the Dallas Cowboys. That's like the comet is headed towards Earth at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Enjoy this game. I kind of like it.
Isn't it though? Isn't the comet headed for Earth?
I like it a lot. I think your reasoning with the number 1 seed is really a really important trend. So that makes a lot of sense. Cowboys is actually, it's funny. I have more faith in your Jaguars pick than your Cowboys pick.
The NFC is hard. Who's coming out of the NFC?
Yeah, it feels
it's not
like
the Eagles, not San Francisco.
Feels like a good three-way battle, but I think there's a fourth team involved in that battle. I think there's going to be a fourth contender in the NFC.
Hold on to it.
I just don't know who it is.
I was going to say, let's tease that.
It's never the top three teams.
All right. There you go. How did we do? Let us know. Super Bowl picks. You want to find them on Twitter. Samter's going to tweet them out right now at Maggie and Pearl on the tweets. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers, as you've never heard him before, and that's saying something. We'll get to that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff continues after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Well, the Chiefs' road back to the Super Bowl begins tonight. The defending champs open as customary at home against the Lions. KC will start 2023 without holdout All-Pro defensive tackle Chris Jones. Travis Kelce also uncertain with a bone bruise in his knee. Couple that with the fact that the Lions finished last year with wins in 8 of 10. Patrick Mahomes said it all adds up to a tough way to begin the season.
They've added talent with young guys and veterans, and they play hard, and they got better even last year. So we know it's going to be a heck of a football game, and if we don't play our best football, we're not going to go out there and win.
2 Americans are featured in the women's semis tonight at the U.S. Open. Coco Gauff takes on Karolina Muchova, and Madison Keys will face Arina Sabalenka in the second match of the night. The Rays and Mariners meet in a matchup of the top 2 wild cards in the American League, while in the National League, the Marlins host the Dodgers. Miami opens today in the 3rd wild card in the NL, a half game in front of Arizona, which will face the Cubs at Wrigley. Following the national championship, LSU has given women's head basketball coach Kim Mulkey a 10-year extension worth $32 million. I'm Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio is everywhere, at home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM, Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Today's memorable moment is sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen is the most recommended memory support brand by pharmacists. Okay, I think this one is sort of a precursor for what could happen tonight. On Thursday, December 16th, 2021, Patrick Mahomes had a great performance in KC's 34-28 overtime win against the Chargers. Completed 31 of 47, 410 yards, 3 touchdowns. Guess who he threw the game winner to, Maggie? Pretty obvious.
Kelsey
in overtime. Yeah. Wait, is that that's not the game where Kelsey just went berserk at the end of the game? It could. Well, that's like 5 games.
It's a lot of them, but he had a game-tying touchdown with like a minute left, and then the overtime winner as well.
Yes, that was the game I was thinking of. Mahomes has won his last 4 Thursday Night Football appearances.
Good note.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it is Andy Reid is great in these situations. So that's why I still have faith, despite your consternation about not having Kelsey
and Jones.
And Amenahu, too. So they're definitely going to be hurting. I don't think that's any way they're going to stop the Lions. But that has never stopped me from picking against the Chiefs. Should be fun. Can I tell you why I'm surprised by your playoff and Super Bowl picks?
Sure. So quickly, Super Bowl picks. Perloff is going all Pennsylvania Super Bowl with the Steelers and the Eagles, with the Eagles prevailing. I went with Jacksonville and Dallas in the Super Bowl, with the Cowboys winning.
So you picked in the AFC East the Miami Dolphins.
I picked them to win the division. I did.
Yes. So you have, I think people might look at your picks, say NFC North Bears, that's the biggest long shot. And maybe it is. But the NFC North is chaotic this year.
I also have the Lions making the playoffs as a wild card, right?
Well, I'm just saying the NFC North doesn't feel like anything can happen. The AFC East, where the Dolphins are, is so top-loaded with the Jets, and in my opinion, with the Jets and the Bills. I just think so much has to go right for the Dolphins to make it all happen this year. That weren't you nervous about your team for one?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
But
about
also
my team.
too, the Jets and that defense. I feel like the Dolphins is going to be really tough.
It's going to be really tough, but I'm kind of going on the fact that the Dolphins have a really, I don't even say sneaky good defense. They've got a really good defense, and they've got Vic Fangio now as their defensive coordinator. And I don't know if they're going to be as good as the Jets, but I think they're going to have a better defense than the Bills. And I think the defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. In every game, quite frankly. And every time Tua is healthy, the offense runs like perfectly. So
Well, wait. What do you mean I mean, the Dolphins have not historically had a great defense.
No, I'm saying now they have a good defense. Like,
but I don't know. The Bills are often top 10 in defense.
No, but the thing is that the Bills to me have gotten. I was just talking to Ryan Hickey about this. They're out in the newsroom. They are old in places where I want them to be young, and they're young in places where I want them to be seasoned. Like beyond Von Miller, they have this sort of youngish pass rush. I'm curious about how that's going to go. And then the secondary with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and Matt Milano as a linebacker, like these guys are not young. And so I worry about their health, and that's going to be tough for the Bills. It's very hard for them to stop the run. This is why I always say they are a dome team. They've been put together like a team that plays in a dome, but they play outside. Why can't they stop the run or run the ball? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I hear what you're saying. I still think you could say their defense is better than Miami. Miami added Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. That's a big addition. But Jalen Ramsey got hurt, might not play till December.
Right.
David Long is a nice addition from the Titans, but he's a linebacker. So,
they traded for Bradley Chubb last year. They have Christian Wilkins, obviously.
But I mean, listen, the Bills had no trouble moving the ball on them in the playoffs. They was a 34-31. I don't know why you don't have more faith in the Bills defense. I mean, the Bills defense been a problem?
Well, Leslie Frazier weirdly stepped away from the team was who knows what's going on with that situation. So now this is the head coach Sean McDermott that has to take over for the defense. Listen, I think Von Miller, I'm fine if he doesn't come back until December. It's totally cool with me. Yeah. But at the same time, you're facing so many good quarterbacks. If you can't get to the quarterback, then we're going to see what we saw against the Cincinnati Bengals.
The other thing, too, is the Jets, I think, seem to have an elite defense.
Yeah.
And I've been resistant to the Jets hype wagon all summer long, but it seems to have died down in the last few weeks. Nobody's picking them, which makes me more excited. Finally, I can jump on board here because they have one great cornerback in Sauce Gardner. I'm really into their other cornerback now, DJ Reed, because he said they were going to be the next 85 Bears.
Yeah, he did.
And
Legion of Boom
Seahawks. Yeah. The fact that he knows these old football teams, I don't know anything about DJ Reed, but I'm all in on this guy. And they obviously have Quinn Williams.
Acts like you have to be some kind of football historian to know who the 85 Bears are. And the Legion of Boom just happened.
The average NBA player doesn't know Michael Jordan also played basketball, let alone the young people not knowing the sport. But it does look like their defensive line is super stacked. Yeah, that's why I really like your Dolphins pick. They're so interesting, but it just feels like in the trenches, the Jets and the Bills, to me, look a little bit ahead of them. But
no, in the trenches, the Bills are not. I mean, again, until Von Miller's back, and the offensive line for the Bills, they really did not upgrade beyond the Osiris Torrance draft pick, but he's going to be playing guard. So how much is he really going to impact the line? I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bills have enough pass rushers. I mean, how many pass rushers?
No, but how many? I know, but how many are really great? There's a reason why they went out and got Von Miller and gave him $50 million at the end of his career.
So who's the guy they cut the other day? Boogie Basham.
Boogie Basham. They traded him, yeah.
You know why? Because they had 9 other first-round pass rushers. I mean, and they had Ed Oliver. They have so many guys up there. None of those dudes can play.
Has Ed Oliver been consistent?
And they just gave him a ton of money, didn't they?
They did, but has he been super consistent?
I hope so. They just handed him a boatload of money.
Well, they also had a lot invested in him because they took him as a first-round pick. I mean, you have to...
But here's the other thing. To his health. You must have been thinking about that.
Of course I'm thinking about it. Everyone should be thinking about it, but... I don't know. Maybe I'm buying into the jiu-jitsu. I can't tell. Did he only watch the YouTube videos or did he actually go get trained by some kind of jiu-jitsu master? I don't know.
Is this an important distinction for you?
Yes,
on your pick?
If he only watched the YouTube tutorials, any Tom, Dick, or Harry could do that. If he actually trained with somebody, I'll feel better about his ability to fall.
Love it.
Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Anthony is in Myrtle Beach, has a Super Bowl conspiracy theory. Hey, Anthony.
What's going on, guys?
Talk to us. What do you got?
All right, so I definitely like your picks. I'm not feeling that Jaguars, but, you can dream. It's okay.
The reason why I said it is I think they're going to have the number 1 seed because they have, in theory, the easier schedule, air quotes, easier schedule, and that extra bye week helps, and that's where I got the Jags from. But go ahead.
No, I get it. I mean, everyone's on their tail. I mean, they win one season that comes down to the last game, and now everyone thinks they're the best thing since bread, but whatever.
Yeah.
So a little bit on the conspiracy theory, how it's scripted. So if you go back, and I'm going to try not to screw this up, so bear with me. If you go back to 2 years ago, the Super Bowl, the actual Super Bowl logo, the colors, I'm going to say 2022 was the orange and red for your Super Bowl. We obviously know how that panned out with Kansas City. Last year we had orange with green. There's your Philadelphia and Kansas City, and again, we know how that filled out.
But Kansas City's not orange.
Well, it's red. I mean, it's a little red because it's fire, so they got to work it in. It can't be all up in your face now, you know what I mean? The answer's in front of you.
All right.
So last year we had the red, orange on fire with the green, you know, the tropical. We had our Super Bowl. This year is red and purple. So if anything tells us, if history repeats itself, I'm going to say it's going to be 49ers Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I wasn't sure. I'm like, are you going like KC Vikings?
Wait.
I wasn't sure what you were about to say, but Baltimore and the 49ers.
You could have gone Vikings there. I'm looking at
rematch.
the logo now, which, by the way, it doesn't look very Vegas-y to me. But
Can I see? I'm not gonna
I like that.
Looking it up.
I got to be honest. I looked at the Ravens hard as a Super Bowl pick because they almost beat the Bengals in the playoffs with Ty Huntley. So they're a tough team. I think Lamar's going to have a big year. So that is. I wish you'd give me that theory. I might have rethought it.
Anthony, thanks. This is information we all could have used a half hour ago. No, I'm kidding. The logo theory. All right, put it in the bucket. Why not? Let's go to Mike in California. Hey, Mike, what's up?
How you guys doing today?
We're doing great. What's on your mind?
I'm calling to make a bet for you guys.
Uh-oh.
Out of your 4 teams, if one or less of them make the Super Bowl, I win a Maggie and Perloff T-shirt. If 2 or more of them are in the Super Bowl, out of all 4 that you picked, I will bring you guys barbecue catered to Super Bowl week when you're in Vegas for the game that week.
Done.
Side dishes, ribs, the works.
Oh, yes. Book it, Mike. You've got yourself a bet there, sir. That sounds incredible.
By the way, can we just negotiate so you come anyway? Because
I know.
I don't feel
Can we
good
just
about.
get you a press
I don't
pass
feel
or
great about the bet, but I do feel good about this barbecue.
We'll try to think up something. Find a way to get you in.
If I can make it out there while you guys are there, I'll try to figure out a way to bring it to you.
Mike, we love that. All right, Samter, write it down in our list of bets, please. If 1 or fewer teams out of our 4 get to the Super Bowl, Mike gets the Maggie and Perloff T-shirt. And if 2 or more?
If any one of the remaining 4 teams, if any 2 of your 4 teams make it, I will show up with barbecue.
There we go. Mike, you're the best. Love this.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
I might have gone more chalk like Bengals.
I know.
Niners. I know this bet was on the table. Yeah.
If I had only known that, I suddenly feel stupid for picking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jake is in Texas as a thought on the 49ers. Hi, Jake.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Excellent. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. I just called in today to kind of discuss George Kittle. You know, I've kind of stuck with him for a while, and I like to see what he can do, but I'm just concerned with his injury, you know, popping back up again. What do y'all think?
Yeah, so what's the latest on Kittle? This is, like, really hard. Is he going to play?
Right. Like, I don't even know. They haven't updated. They just said it's questionable, hamstring still. I've been waiting for an update, you know?
I was at a fantasy draft last night, and there was a lot of the chat was going wild about George Kittle.
In what way?
So
Jake, thank you for the call.
We had a caller yesterday who was complaining about George Kittle's health.
Yeah,
it seems
Ryan.
to be a theme. So George Kittle still was, when we do an auction draft, went for a ton of money. And someone said, are we sure Kittle's going to stay healthy? And I was thinking to myself, Kittle's not staying healthy. The Niners are one of those snake-bitten teams. He has a hamstring or something, right?
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know.
Groin injury.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like the Niners, I follow the Niners closely. I can't remember, one of my guys was on the Niners, Nick Mullins, of course, backup quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah. Not one of your guys on a fantasy team, just one of your guys.
One of the backup quarterbacks I'm friendly with in the NFL.
Yep.
And they have so much talent, but they always find injuries, and they have injured years and non-injured years. The fact that Kittle's already hurting, to me, says this is going to be a long year. It's just the way the team has been.
It looks like from the latest here I'm seeing from Sports Illustrated that Kittle is trekking towards being active. That's the way they're putting it.
That is a great game, by the way.
Oh, Pittsburgh 49ers?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And by the way, the Niners could kill the Steelers, and I'm not going to worry about it because I picked the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl because the Niners are great.
That's true. listen, the Niners, something's going to happen with McCaffrey. He had unprecedented health after he joined the team last year. Anyway, we never got to Aaron Rodgers. We will get to that coming up. Also, Deion Sanders and Nick Saban. More alike than different, according to sources. We'll explain all of that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Was hanging out with Seth Rogen's mom in Europe.
And I actually
didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it.
Wait, what should we email Seth Rogen's mom? Can we do this all as a show? Can we have her?
Is that your Seth Rogen impersonator?
You sound like Beavis and Butthead. So we have to figure out what do we want to write to Seth Rogen's.
Let's ask Seth to come on the show and talk to the Weedham.
He would be like their Pied Piper.
She's going to get him to do a cameo. That's what's going to end up happening.
Where are we going to pay? What a deal. Way to know people in high places.
She'll get the 25% off discount.
I know what the cameo would say. Hey, I heard you were on a cruise with my mom. Cool.
And that costs $600.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Travis Kelce questionable for the opener tonight. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and that is everything in this game, along with Chris Jones, Perloff, who still no deal, never got that raise, at least yet.
5 o'clock. It's not too late, Maggie.
Yeah, we got kickoff here in a couple hours. Something tells me this contract's not going to get done.
If it was pro wrestling, he'd sign in the second quarter and come out to great fanfare in the third quarter. It'd be awesome.
The game-winning sack.
Yeah, logistically that can't happen, right? That's not in the cards.
I don't think that you can do that. Drive into the stadium through the gate. No. Chris Jones not going to play in this game. Didn't get through their contract dispute. And with a limited or totally non-existent Travis Kelce, I'm going with Detroit on this one, Perloff. And listen, it doesn't mean I think that Kansas City can't have a good season or rebound or something like that. It's just Kelce is way too important to what they do. And Andy Reid has 2 days to prepare without having his best offensive weapons. Even for as amazing as Mahomes is, that is too much to overcome.
I expect Mahomes to throw to the backs a lot here. I don't know. I'm coming off the Super Bowl. That's the most recent time we saw the Chiefs. In the second half, Mahomes was throwing it everywhere. And everybody sort of stepped up and could catch. I like this rookie, Rashee Rice, out of SMU.
Yep.
Love Sky Moore this year. I think Sky Moore is going to take a next step up. And Kadarius Toney, this is he is playing, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the few, he's listed, I think he's listed as something now, but he's one of the few games we're going to actually have him on the field. So take advantage of that. They just find guys, Maggie, because Mahomes, one thing about him, he does not hone in on one target. Yeah, he loves Kelce. Kelce's his guy on third down, but he's not afraid to throw it to anybody in a key moment. So I think that the Chiefs will find enough weapons. This is going to be great. I think Goff's going to have 400 yards tonight.
Wait, do they do the ring around the rosy play?
No, tonight, without Kelce there, there's no arrogance.
Now you just got to really hone in. The basic playbook, none of that fancy stuff.
No look stuff from Mahomes, no left-handed passes, no ring around the rosy. Then again, it is national TV. He does like an audience.
I think you're getting an offensive lineman catching a touchdown pass. I could see it.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be fun. But I think they are probably a little nervous. By the way, Kelce could play too.
It's possible, but how limited would he be?
That's what the shots are for, Maggie.
Yeah. Well, you got 17 weeks to go after this,
Yeah.
18-week season now. I don't know if I would want to, risk blowing out my knee for week 1 against the Lions.
Yeah, the logic that you said all week, why risk it? Why not just wait? You have a 10-day rest after this. First of all, Travis Kelce always plays. Travis Kelce loves the big stage.
That's true.
And this is the big, big stage.
Yeah, but it's not SNL. You got to, I know he loves the big stage. He's only missed 3 games. 2 of those were because the Kansas City Chiefs had already locked up their playoff spot, and the other one was because of COVID in 2020. This guy is not somebody who misses games. However, you just got to be smart here. The bigger picture.
You say it's not SNL. It's 5 times the viewers of the most viewed SNL. The whole world is watching this. This is right behind the Super Bowl. This is a kickoff special. Who's the concert tonight, by the way? Is there a concert? You know how they used to do the Black Eyed Peas used to play on opening night?
I don't know.
You're right. Actually,
Is this game on NBC or on
NBC.
Amazon?
No, it's Football
on
Night
NBC.
America. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, on to the Jared Goff side of things and the Detroit side of things. Why I'm, bullish on the Lions, not just like the offseason hype that's been the storyline for months here, is the Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. If you give Jared Goff time, then he's going to be able to get the ball to whoever he wants to, notably Amon-Ra St. Brown and others. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. And without Chris Jones on the defensive side, Perloff, it's going to be really hard to keep Detroit's offense honest. And, yeah, probably a shootout in this one, which I know you're looking forward to.
Oh, I love it. I find the Jared Goff story really interesting. Jared Goff, everyone, when he went to Detroit, they're like, he's a placeholder. He's a bridge quarterback.
Right.
Then last year, his numbers were outstanding, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. Wouldn't it be funny if Jared Goff ends up signing another $200 million contract?
I'd be shocked.
But would you be shocked now? Yeah, last year we'd be shocked. Now it'd be like, now it makes perfect sense. He gels with that offensive coordinator. He has all the weapons around him. He seems like if he's on the offense where he's got a lot of people to help him, he can be good. And this is a situation, he's going to have time tonight to throw. No one's getting to him. So I think he's going to put up big yards.
Yeah, before the draft, I thought maybe the Lions could be a sneaky team. I know they took Hendon Hooker, but I thought maybe they could be a sneaky team that could possibly think about getting the quarterback of the future in the building now to
in the draft?
Yeah,
okay.
Like before the most recent draft. I thought maybe they end up taking Hendon Hooker, so maybe he is the future. Who knows? He's coming off a knee injury, but
wow, he's almost old enough to retire already too.
He's basically the same age as Goff. But I was wondering if this is what happened with the San Francisco 49ers, right? They were like, listen, if we can be really good with sort of middle of the road quarterbacks like Jimmy Garoppolo, and we can get to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship games with the Garoppolo, imagine how good we would be if we had, what they thought was like Trey Lance, someone who could have this really high ceiling. And we saw how that worked out. I wonder if Detroit could have the same feeling. Like, hey, if we could be this good with Jared Goff, how good could we be with insert X name?
Yeah, I think there's legitimate reason to think that Jared Goff could get you a Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, because he brought a team to a Super Bowl. So,
and they didn't score a touchdown in that game.
Yeah, but Tom Brady scored 1 touchdown in that game. Is that an indictment of Tom Brady?
Well, no, it's not, because he scored a touchdown and won.
Well,
actually, technically, I think Sony Michel actually. I think Sony Michel actually scored that touchdown.
Yeah, listen, Jared Goff is the number 1 pick. Probably a little too maligned because his coach couldn't stand him, which might have been personal.
Yep.
Maybe some comments were made about said coach's girlfriend on Instagram. Whatever. Something went totally south there in LA. And obviously Stafford could get the job done. I just think it's a funny redemption story. Because Jared Goff is seems like an unassuming, nice California kid. Doesn't seem to have a problem with anybody. And he's just tripping into this sort of super offense now. Once Jameson Williams comes back, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a budding star. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be awesome. He's going to be like Alvin Kamara. The line is, as you mentioned earlier, the line is great. This really has a chance to be special. The big question, at the end of the year, Aiden Hutchinson looked like a star, and that defense looked legit. Man, I don't see how they do it tonight, Maggie. Even without Kelsey, I think it's going to be so hard. It's the Chiefs.
This is tough. I'm sorry. Speaking of saying things about other people's girlfriends, did you see the story about Belichick?
Yeah.
Is this a real story? So we'll give you the Cliff Notes version, which is this according to the Daily Mail? So take this all with a grain of salt. This is coming from the gossip pages. But according to, I think, the Daily Mail, Belichick and his longtime girlfriend, Linda Holliday, have broken up. And apparently it's been like a long, drawn-out back and forth, as a lot of breakups are. And maybe it's gotten a little ugly. And according to this story, there are people close to Belichick who are worried that Linda is going to go rogue on social media or something and spill the secrets or whatever about Belichick.
Yeah, why did they break up now? Like, if she could handle sort of a grumpy head coach type, why did it break up? I don't understand. This is very unlikely to me, because every time you see a photo shoot of the two of them, Belichick looks miserable and she looks really happy.
Like all good relationships.
Like, if you could do 1 year of Bill Belichick, what's to stop you from going the distance here?
Page 6 also has this as well. It's not just the Daily Mail. Apparently they're having an awkward breakup, according to sources. I say spill it, Linda. Let's go, lady. Come on, honey. You can do it. What was he saying about Brady? What was he saying about Kraft? You know he was saying stuff about Kraft's son. I'm sure he unloads on Kraft's son. Like, oh, Jonathan. Thinks
Yeah,
he's
but
so smart.
she can't just say Belichick said he didn't like Kraft. It's got to be something specific, right? Like it's got to be like a cheating scandal or something.
Nah, I don't want to know about that. I want to know, what did he say about Brady? Like, what did she overhear?
You can't just come out. How do you come out and say, "Oh, Bill, you should hear it"? No, she has to have a smoking gun. She can't just like pass an opinion because Bill will be like, "That's her interpretation of it." I need something that's going to get the NFL involved. I need something
like
really
he's
good
been
here.
videotaping the Jacksonville Jaguars practices or something. Did he have Josh Allen's house bugged?
I want a text. I want hard evidence of something. It's got to be like, remember how Tom Brady had to destroy his phone? I want Belichick destroying his phone.
Actually, so she was the one, I guess, who was criticizing Tom Brady in 2021, made some headlines for criticizing Brady when he was with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, listen, maybe she's a wild card. Come on, Linda. Let's go. What do you got?
You ever seen that Nantucket magazine shoot with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend? It's one of the most amazing things ever. You've never seen a more awkward model in your life than Bill Belichick. Like, I just picture the photographer saying, "All right, now smile." And like doing that forced smile.
It's like, his smile, I always say, Bill Belichick, when he smiles, looks like he's staring at the sun. It's like, ugh. It's always squinting and so pained.
Does part of you make you more excited about the Patriots now that he doesn't have his girlfriend in his life? He can focus solely on football. Probably doesn't have to coach the offense again this year like he did last year.
That's different from the last 30 years of his life?
Well, no. How long has he been with this woman?
No, but his whole life he's been super focused on football.
I don't know. She seems like she's been in the way.
Yeah, been in the way. They've won like 2 Super Bowls since they've been dating, haven't they?
Yeah, but I mean, they were super close Super Bowls. You know,
Patriots always play close Super Bowls.
I don't know. Bill Belichick certainly looked distracted last year. I mean, there's no arguing that.
You're going to blame Linda?
I am going to blame Linda. I feel like
she made him dress up like a pirate at a Halloween party, and now the Patriots are going to the toilet? Yes, after.
I'm surprised you're the one kind of like not freaking out about this. You're the perennial PTSD. Bill Belichick has ruined my entire football existence, and now you're like, there might be some Bill Belichick like focused and laser beam ready to kick butt this season, and you're like, nah, whatever, means nothing. Just give me the dirt on Brady.
Yeah, I think
I'd be freaking out if I were you.
He's the same. Linda is not pulling Belichick out of whatever cave and hole he goes into to watch film for 22 hours a day. No shot.
But maybe he's only watching 18 hours of film because of her.
Yeah, I love it. I want Linda to spill the beans. Come on.
I don't know. Belichick hasn't seemed to have that edge for a little while. I feel like Belichick's definitely lost. Maybe it's his old age. I feel like he's less scary now than he used to be. Did you hear today he had a 12-minute answer to a question about long snappers?
I watched that whole thing.
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
I watched a big chunk of it. It was fascinating.
I was like, there's no way he can't keep going on. This has to be like, re-looped or something. Nope, he went on for 10 minutes.
He spoke 10 minutes straight about long snappers?
Yeah, and why they should be on why you can't have like a center as a long snapper. You need a separate guy as a long snapper. He went through the whole history of kickers and punters and long snappers. It was great.
Man, bless you, Stu, for listening to that. Thank you for listening to it so I didn't have to. I noticed no clips of that on the cut sheet, so clearly not that amazing.
I was thinking about just having an entire segment where we air the entire answer and just sit back and listen.
No, if this ever happens where like one of us gets like explosive diarrhea or something, then just play Belichick on the long snapper.
That's the reason? Of all the things that could come
or whatever. Like the Barcelona plane that had to be turned around. It landed to Barcelona because of the biohazard. If that ever happens, just play the Belichick answer. Sorry. I just made everyone in the room really uncomfortable.
You know what my issue with this whole thing was the reporter. Do you guys know who asked it? He was so clearly getting brownie points. He's like, I was just thinking about something. And they're like, I was just thinking about something. I'm not going to ask about, your week 1 game against the Eagles, which you're definitely going to cover in, by the way. I'm going to ask about long snappers. The reporter goes, I was just thinking about something. Long snappers, like, oh, come on. You are brown-nosing with Bill Belichick. It was pathetic.
Yeah. You can't pull him to the side and ask him that question. You can't brown-nose in private.
He didn't even have his tape recorder on for the answer. He just wanted to get in Bill Belichick's good graces.
Well, if he did have the tape recorder on, it would be out of tape by the end.
It's a brilliant move by the reporter. Bill Belichick will love him forever.
Totally. I think Belichick.
The next time he asks about Mac Jones, he's going to be like, shut up. I'm taking away your press credential.
Oh, no, okay. So it was Ben Volen who asked him.
Oh, well, we love Ben. Ben's not
Wow.
brown-nosing. Ben's out there breaking stories.
Ben is all.
Ben's out there uncovering, Stephen Ross meeting with Tom Brady on a private yacht and getting the Dolphins' first-round draft pick taken away.
Yeah, we all know what's going on here. Ben is throwing a softball, but he's gearing up for that one pitch later. He's going to give him a fastball down the pipe on Sunday or something. Ben is just trying to get in his good graces before
About
he
Bailey
destroys
Zappi.
him. Yeah, before he destroys him in 2 weeks.
When he comes with the big backup quarterback questions.
Belichick, he's going to be angry again, Maggie. I might change my picks. This is huge.
Because he's broken up with Linda?
Yeah, I definitely give the Patriots 1.5 wins off of this.
Is Belichick like an eligible bachelor now?
I can't imagine Belichick ever even meeting this woman.
She's probably going to get a glow up here. Imagine you could be dating Belichick's ex-girlfriend. I bet in New England that means a lot. every single dude in Southie's going to want to date Linda. She knows everything about the team.
Yeah, because Belichick's ex-wife, I'm sure she was a hot product in New Jersey.
Listen,
get out of here.
Get like 3 glasses of wine and Linda and be like, all right, what was Gronk really
But
like?
who is Linda the girlfriend's name?
Yeah.
You talk about her like, oh, my friend Linda.
Well, I mean, I feel like we could be friends probably.
No, you couldn't.
I think I could be friends with any woman on the planet.
There are a lot rooting against in this friendship. I don't see the former Miss Arkansas who's obsessed with photo shoots. Doesn't exactly remind me of you, Maggie.
We'd find common ground. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Every woman likes to talk about a skincare routine. It's fine. It's a classic icebreaker. It's the fantasy football of like women's conversations. Whatever you guys talk about fantasy football to break the ice with other dudes, women talk about Botox.
There you go.
By the looks of it, I think Linda and I could have a robust conversation. 855-212-4CBS. Okay, coming up next, we have Deion Sanders. This is going to be interesting. Well, not Deion. We're going to talk about Deion Sanders. What's that? And Carrington Harrison. Yes, Carrington is going to join us. We get live updates from Kansas City next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds. Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone's free battery testing and charging is available for free at your local AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Starts tonight. Oh, yes, Maggie, let's go.
Getting closer to kickoff between the Chiefs and the Detroit Lions, and we still don't really have an update as far as we know on Travis Kelce. Still listed as questionable. Chris Jones not going to play, does not have a new contract, but let's get some boots on the ground. Let's go down to Kansas City right now. Carrington Harrison, good enough to join us. He's the afternoon host on 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City, also a host right here on CBS Sports Radio. Carrington, it's Maggie and Perloff. Thanks so much for doing this, man. How are you?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to come on today, man.
Okay, so Travis Kelce, Perloff and I see this two different ways. I think this is major if Kelce can't play tonight. And I don't know if it's, he's going to try to gut it out. I think that would be a mistake. But what would Kansas City lose if Kelce cannot go?
I agree with half of what you said. I mean, I certainly am on the side of this is a week one game against an NFC opponent. I understand that we act like every week in the NFL is the most important thing ever, but Kansas City can still accomplish all of its goals if they lose today. You still play Cincinnati later in the year. You still play Buffalo. You have Jacksonville next week. That's a team that you could be potentially fighting with for playoff positioning. It's still so early on in the season. I am not letting Travis Kelce play at 70, 80% or so. You obviously are losing a lot. I think you could argue that Travis Kelce is the best skill position player in the league. He certainly is on the short list, but I at least want to note the last time that Patrick Mahomes played without Travis Kelce, he had COVID back in 2021. They scored 36 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their number one leading receiver was Byron Pringle. Their leading rusher in the game was Darrell Williams. So I understand the pause and cause for concern about not having Travis Kelce, but this team still has one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen.
So, Carrington, when Tyreek Hill left, a lot of people said, the Chiefs' offense is going to struggle. And now the argument we've been having all day, what would an offense, and it's not just about this injury, but just eventually Travis Kelce is going to retire. I am from Philadelphia, and I say Andy Reid can generate offense no matter who's at the skill positions as long as you have Patrick Mahomes. You just hinted at it. I think they can keep it going, and they'll just find guys. Am I being overly positive about this sort of hodgepodge wide receiving core they have?
No, not at all. I mean, this is just what great players do. I mean, we've seen LeBron play for different organizations, different teams, different coaches. He's still been LeBron James through all of this. We saw Peyton Manning with the Colts, with the Broncos. We've seen 15 different versions of the Patriots with Tom Brady. I don't really know why Patrick Mahomes would be any different. I mean, they won a Super Bowl last year with Travis Kelce and a bunch of guys. You got a 7th-round player in Isaiah Pacheco, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. Not a lot of household names. We weren't talking about a juggernaut offense with pieces, and they scored more points than any team in the National Football League. So I certainly understand the question, but we never asked this question about Brady. We never asked this question about Peyton Manning. We didn't ask this question about Aaron Rodgers when he lost Jordy Nelson. I don't know why we're asking this about Patrick Mahomes.
Carrington Harrison joining us from Kansas City. He's the Afternoon Drive host on 610 Sports Radio, also a host here on CBS Sports Radio. All right, flipping over to the Chris Jones side of the not to go to Chris Jones quickly. Carrington, is there anything else that we should know about tonight's game? Because Kelce has gotten so much attention, but anything else that you're thinking about?
I mean, I actually think I talked about this on my show, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer because everybody in Kansas City is so happy. This game kind of feels like 2017. You remember Kansas City went on the road to New England to play them. New England had just won a Super Bowl. They were raising a banner. You remember Alex Smith threw for 400 yards in that game and 4 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt had a really big day. Tyreek Hill had a really big day, and the Chiefs went on the road and upset the Patriots. I think there's a lot of similarities between those two games. I also look at this, everybody's been talking about how good the Lions are, that this is the year for the Lions. If you're ever going to catch Kansas City, isn't this the game to catch Kansas City? Travis Kelce banged up. No Chris Jones. Snead, their number 1 corner, missed a lot of training camp. Their running back missed a lot of training camp. Their number 1 wide receiver, Kadarius Toney, he was banged up. We're not talking about a fully functional, operating, firing on all cylinders versions of the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Lions are a team that people think can make the postseason and win their division, this is the perfect time to catch Kansas City.
Carrington, how big of a failure is it that Chris Jones and the Chiefs could not get to a contract agreement before tonight's game?
The thing that actually trips me up about this, and people nationally aren't talking about this, is Chris Jones is going to be in attendance at the game today. He is going to be in a suite. This would be like Maggie tomorrow. He's going to be at the game. It would be like if you called off work, but then still came up there to eat lunch with everybody.
Showed up at the happy hour.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know how you can opt out of everything. He has never practiced with this version of the Kansas City Chiefs, and now you get to have all you can eat, all you can drink, and celebrate the raising of the Super Bowl banner? I can't believe the Chiefs are even with this. It makes absolutely no sense to me. This entire thing has been a very unhappy NBA player soap opera. This has been Ben Simmons, this has been James Harden, this has been Damian Lillard. It has been nonstop drama circulating around Chris Jones over the last 2 or 3 months.
Carrington, by the way, I was going through your social media. Did you throw out a first pitch at the Royals game, or was that all?
I did. I did a couple of weeks ago, and this was my philosophy. Nobody remembers great first pitches. Nobody. You have never seen a video of somebody man, that guy really had an arm. You only remember if somebody does really bad on a first pitch. So I just didn't want my first pitch to be memorable. I wanted to go up there, and all I wanted to do was make sure that I got it to home plate. I know I'm not getting signed off of this. It's not like the Royals were going to come down and have me pitch the 8th inning. I probably would. But I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I just wanted to throw it straight. I did that. I never want to throw another first pitch.
I would say that was a hanging slider. I would have ripped that into the gap.
I'm going to be honest, though. I mean, the way the Royals have been going, you might be able to pitch for them in relief. So, Carrington, though, back to the Chris Jones thing quickly. When's he going to get signed? When is this going to happen? He tweeted something about week 8 a couple weeks ago, but, where is this going?
I would set the over-under at Chris Jones at 3.5, and I think he's going to be back for that game against the Jets. They play the Jets at the end of the month. I mean, this is the game that Chiefs fans have had circled. We have had 2 other opportunities to see Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. The first time Patrick Mahomes got hurt, the last time, that was the game that we found out that Aaron Rodgers didn't have the COVID vaccine, so he couldn't play in that game. So NBC wanted to get that game early in the schedule. Chiefs fans are super excited for that one. That's the game that I would have circled. A lot of people, at least locally, have brought up Le'Veon Bell. I actually don't think this is anything like Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell got franchise tag. That's not what we're talking about. This is a lot more like Cam Chancellor when he was with Seattle. You remember Cam Chancellor Spencer was mad about his contract. He held out earlier in the season, and then the Seahawks never budged and then gave him a new deal. That's what I think is going to happen with Chris Jones. I think he comes back to work in a couple of weeks and plays under that same contract, and then next year hits free agency and probably goes to join the Bears or the Colts or somebody like that.
All right, real quick, Carrington, rank the top 3 Kansas City wide receivers in order. Who's wide receiver 1, 2, and 3?
I would say Marquez Valdez-Scantling is number 1. If we're saying everybody is healthy, I would say Kadarius Toney is number 2, but he has just never been healthy. He wasn't healthy at Florida. He wasn't healthy when he was in New York with you guys. He wasn't healthy last year with the Chiefs. This year in training camp, this is not hyperbole, he got hurt on their first practice drill at training camp. Not the first practice, the very first drill that they ran, he got injured and missed all of training camp and missed all of the preseason. I would probably put him at number 2 if he's healthy. I would put Sky Moore. Sky Moore is a player that I'm really looking forward to today. I mean, he was a rookie last year in Andy Reid's system. Now this year, remember, he had that touchdown in the Super Bowl. I think he's going to carry that momentum. For those of you that gamble, his over-under on receiving yards is around 49.5. I'm actually taking the over tonight for Sky Moore. I actually don't think that Travis Kelce is going to play, so that means it's going to be a lot of opportunities for other guys. I think Sky Moore is going to really soak up that opportunity.
Carrington, we appreciate this so much. Thank you for giving us some flavor from Kansas City. Enjoy the game tonight.
You know what? I always appreciate the fun topics that you guys do. I look forward to you guys taking like a deep dive on like Varsity Blues or Friday Night Lights or something. 'Cause I already know that's coming up for you guys.
Well, we'll make sure to get you on the horn when we're doing greatest, table tennis movies of all time. You're going to be our first call.
There's nothing I love more than bad movies. Everybody has a favorite bad movie, so I'm very excited about this.
Yes, that's why I like Caddyshack too. Thank you, Carrington. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Carrington Harrison, afternoon host, 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City and right here on CBS Sports Radio.
I keep telling you, Maggie, don't tell anyone outside the building or outside this room that you like Caddyshack too.
Okay.
It's just not good for our brand.
Listen, it's not the weirdest thing that's ever been said. Can we quickly get to Aaron Rodgers? I want to react to what Carrington said, but we got to get this Aaron Rodgers story in.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Talking about aliens. As Aaron Rodgers has been known to do. I'm sorry, talking about UFOs, not aliens. Talking about UFOs, Rodgers tells this story. It's from the season finale of Hard Knocks.
I was getting down to bed. I heard this alarm in the distance going off. Steve and his brother and I walked outside, and up in the clouds, we heard this sound, and we saw this tremendously large object moving through the sky. And it was like a scene out of Independence Day when the ships are coming into the atmosphere and they're creating this like explosion type fire in the sky. So we just saw this incredibly large object and froze, as anybody would, because what the hell was going on. And about 30 seconds later, we heard fighter jets chasing this object, and then we all kind of looked at each other like, did we just see what we think we just saw? That got me into researching more about UFOs, whatever the hell it was, I don't know. But it was definitely unidentified, it was definitely flying, it was definitely a large object.
There you go. Aaron Rodgers spotted a UFO. He said so on Hard Knocks. The fact that he had witnesses, does this make it more credible?
Oh, yeah. No, it's totally credible. I'm sure that was a extraterrestrial life form in a chase with the Air Force. Definitely.
I'm picking up the sarcasm in your voice. You don't think that it's possible that Aaron Rodgers and his former college roommate and that college roommate's brother saw a UFO in New Jersey?
No, I do not.
So you think he's lying and making it up?
I'd easily bet my life that it. No. I don't. No. I think he was high.
Oh God.
I mean, definitely.
But even if he's high, it could have happened. You think he was imagining a large thing in the sky? That's more than high. That's like high as the sky.
I think he saw random lights in the sky and his brain formed some narrative. Of course.
And the fighter jets? You think that? What was that? That's made up?
Okay, so you think it's real?
I think he probably did see something. The fact that he has witnesses, doesn't that corroborate it a little bit?
No. What are you talking about?
Guys, are you with me on this one? No.
Well, I have to hear from said witnesses. Like him saying there were witnesses and we're all like, oh my gosh. I want to hear from those witnesses and get corroborating stories or put them in different rooms, recount the story, and just make sure it matches up. I mean, maybe they were all high, or maybe they all saw something.
Do you
or maybe
realize
Rodgers is making it up and be like, yeah, me and my friends saw XYZ. Like, who's to say that they did?
Do you realize the type of weed you'd have to be smoking to see a massive space?
This is a guy who does ayahuasca. You think weed's going to make you see this stuff?
Not back in 2008 or
LSD?
whatever.
Maybe he's doing LSD.
But don't you think you would have to say, "Hey guys,
mushrooms"?
Maybe that was the drugs. Like you wouldn't pass it off to Hard Knocks. You're like, you know what? I was on this acid trip this one time, and I thought I saw a spaceship.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
But
I mean, the odds of an extraterrestrial being sighted by one of the most famous people in America seems unlikely.
Well,
it's not like, it's not.
That's kind of what makes me feel like maybe there's a little truth to it, because it's like you're right.
Yeah.
Why? But listen, I know he lied about the vaccine thing, but like, why would he lie about this?
I don't think he's lying. I think he's imagining. It's just like, so when you see a guy in Nevada who says, "Yeah, man, I was up there and then a light came," or those people earlier this summer who said the big green guys came into their backyard.
Yeah.
Are they lying, or is there something else going on?
I think you have to be forthcoming if you're on a mind-altering drug. Don't you have to disclose that before you tell this ridiculous story?
Not if you believe legitimately that what you saw didn't have anything to do with the mind-altering drug.
Well, then you're just a dope. If you're like, I'm stone cold sober and I saw this crazy thing.
Well, but he goes on and talks about how, like, then he started doing research into UFOs and how UFOs, most of the sightings happen near nuclear power plants or some sort of nuclear energy, because apparently the UFOs need nuclear energy to run. He's going on to a whole thing. At that point in your life, when you start believing that kind of stuff, that there's UFOs going near nuclear power plants and nuclear, whatever, you're past the point of having to admit that you were on something when you saw it.
But don't you think it can't be coincidence that the states that have the most UFO sightings also have the most acid consumed by their average citizen? How many times do we see stone guys in jean shorts on the side of the road who saw something in the New Mexico desert?
This was Jersey. Does Jersey have a high?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Lots of people doing acid.
And if you were to ask what NFL quarterback
one of them is a quarterback for the football team there. He's openly doing acid. What do you think ayahuasca is?
If you were most likely to ask what NFL quarterback has most likely seen a UFO, of course we're all going to say Aaron Rodgers, right? If Tom Brady came out saying I saw a UFO, maybe I would believe it a little bit more. Matthew Stafford came out and said I saw a UFO. I'd be like, all right, well, Matthew Stafford doesn't make these wild claims all the time. No, that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Sam Bradford saw a UFO. Then there are aliens on Earth. Sam Bradford's on Earth. But Mike nails it right there. Aaron Rodgers. If early yesterday I said to you, which quarterback in the NFL is most likely to see a UFO, who would you say?
Well, definitely Aaron Rodgers. But guys, okay, I'll agree with you. If Justin Herbert came out and was like, I saw a UFO, I'd honestly pack my bags and just get in a rowboat and start rowing. I don't know what I would do. But I don't think Rodgers can, like, perpetuate this lie if he was actually on mind-altering drugs and failed to tell us that small detail. Like,
so Aaron Rodgers,
he's going to be thought of as even a bigger phony.
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe Rodgers, first of all, I don't necessarily think he was high, but I do think that some people see what they want to see. And I think most people who see aliens concoct this image in their brain that is sort of...
But he's got two witnesses. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, these are also witnesses who are his close friends who probably do or think or see the same things that he does.
Do you remember when that guy went into Congress talking about UFOs recently?
Yes.
He testified about UFOs, and finally they're like, and have you seen these UFOs? No, I haven't, but I've talked to a lot of people who've seen them. Come on here.
But so there was one thing that happened to me once. This is not a UFO story, but something happened to me once, and I saw this thing that I couldn't believe I saw.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that my friend was right there next to me, and she saw the exact same thing without us even saying it.
Was it a ghost or a UFO?
No. It was in Washington, D.C., where somebody... like we saw what we thought was like a spy handoff where someone put an envelope out of their back. Someone was on a bike and took an envelope out of their backpack and put it in the back seat of a car where the back passenger side window was rolled down, and they passed each other without even breaking stride. And we were just like, oh, we just watched someone pass information to someone else.
Yeah.
And we watched it, and we both saw it, and I was so happy I had a witness because no one would believe me.
Right, but would you automatically jump to these are like Russian spies who are taking down our government? Or would you be like, oh, well, maybe it was just like a guy on a bike who had a note for a person in a car?
Well, I got to be honest, yeah, like... 2 bike messengers is more believable than extraterrestrial life.
Sort of. Not to Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, but I can't believe you're even asking us. You're like, wait, Aaron Rodgers had witnesses about the UFO in New Jersey? Come on, what are we doing here? Of course this is ridiculous.
I think the witnesses change. Is it 855-212-4CBS?
There is just no way somebody that famous is going to be the first American to actually have a bona fide meeting with an alien.
No, he said UFO. He didn't say alien. He just said UFO.
Oh,
He didn't say like anything came out of it.
I mean, he
like
did
a little
say at the end,
green
like,
alien.
it was unidentified. It was definitely flying, and it was an object of some sort. So it was a UFO by definition. But when people say UFOs, we're talking about aliens. I'm not talking about a drone like some guy's flying in his backyard.
Which is probably what it was, by the way. But yeah, what do you mean what do you think he means when he says UFO? He's not talking about some flight that went off target from Canada.
No, he's not talking about like these 710 coming to JFK. No, but the thing is, it's not like the people from Vegas who said we have something non-human. Remember that? The people in Vegas who called the cops and said there's something not human in my backyard. It wasn't like that.
Yes, it was.
He just said it was like a something flying, but he didn't say it's like a non-human like matter. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was kind of implying it, though.
That seemed like direct. Otherwise, why are we talking about it?
Fighter jets flying past it and nuclear power plants. And
it turned out it was a Frisbee being chased by two dogs. When he said, I saw an unidentified flying object, I think he was talking about something from outer space.
No, but he didn't say he witnessed an actual alien. That's what I'm saying. Not like a Martian or something.
He didn't get the anal probe. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scene from Zoolander. He's like, Hansel, is it possible you've been smoking peyote for the last 4 days and this is all in your brain?
This is 3 steps away from that Kate McKinnon character you love so much on Saturday Night Live who pretends that she saw an alien. 3 steps away, Maggie.
All right. Coming up next, we do have to get to the Deion Sanders quote. Which coach said he's already wrapped up Coach of the Year in college football? So we'll get to that right after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Well, football is back. The NFL season kicks off tonight in Kansas City with the defending champion Chiefs hosting the Lions. With all eyes focused on Patrick Mahomes, the MVP is quick to point out his opposite number, Jared Goff, quite capable as well.
No matter if it was at the Rams or last year with the Lions, I mean, he's always put up stats. He's always won games, and that takes something. I mean, be able to win a game whenever everything might not be going perfect, you have to have something inside of you that says, like, I can go out there and find a way to win, and he's done that his entire career.
Goff had a resurgence last year in Detroit, leading the Lions to wins in 8 of their final 10 games, setting up the high expectations for this year. And Detroit added first-round pick Jahmyr Gibbs and free agent David Montgomery to make the offense even more potent. While the Chiefs tonight could be without Travis Kelce, as he's nursing a bone bruise suffered in practice the other day. He is going to try to give it a go, though. Defensive tackle Chris Jones remains a holdout. Coco Gauff will face Karolina Muchova in the women's semis tonight of the U.S. Open. Another American, Madison Keys, will meet Aryna Sabalenka in the other semifinal. The Marlins host the Dodgers, with Miami currently holding the final NL wild card and a half-game lead over the Diamondbacks, who face the Cubs. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Jim Rome here. Coming up Friday in the Jungle, Packers pass rusher Preston Smith and Alvin's week that was. See you Friday, 12 noon Eastern and 9 Pacific.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Breaking news coming from Nick Wright, noted Chiefs supporter, that Travis Kelce is out tonight with that bone bruise in his knee.
Yeah, it feels like the second it went down to 4.5, someone knew that Kelce was not looking
The line,
good.
yeah.
When the line moved down to 4.5. So that explains that. I guess common sense prevailed here, right?
Well, does not make a lot of sense for Travis Kelce to play in this game if he's dealing with swelling. So reportedly, he is out tonight. Let's get to our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. Today's shot of the day, a little snapshot of the show, came from earlier. We were talking about Mike McCarthy's new mantra for the Dallas Cowboys.
The theme is Carpe Omnia, seize everything.
Mike McCarthy Googled inspirational theme notes or something. He sounds like he didn't believe a word of what he was saying. He didn't even sound like he knew what he was talking about. I'm starting to think he's a total fraud based on that comment.
Starting to think that's your Cowboys Quickie.
What do you mean?
I said embrace everything of hers. Seize everything.
So, I think themes are a good thing, I'll tell you right now, Robin Williams and Dead Post Society, the exact opposite of Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys head coach.
Very opposite.
They stand on the desk and they yell, "Captain, my captain," or they say something inspirational.
Captain, my captain.
That's the exact opposite. So, I think themes are good to have, and I Googled this one, and it sounds...
And this came up. Yes, Mike McCarthy maybe cramming for the test.
Wow.
On needing an inspirational quote for the team.
He's excited now. He's you got him in the Super Bowl.
I do. I have the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Perloff made his Super Bowl pick today.
Got my Eagles over the Steelers.
There you are. So you're welcome to disagree with us. Let's get to the Daily Dion.
Daily. Do you believe that? Dion. You believe that?
Well, we got to be keeping up with all things Deion Sanders now ahead of their big game against Nebraska this weekend. A little old rivalry revisited between Nebraska and Colorado. One big-time college football coach already has Deion as the coach of the year. Here is Jim Harbaugh, who's appearing on Stoney and Jansen, 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit.
I love Prime's halftime interview, too. If we had hit him on 2 more passes, that Heisman would be chilling at his crib. I mean, it was quite a performance. It's great. I think, maybe the coach of the year is chilling at Prime's crib.
Yeah, in Boulder.
But it's great. It's great. It's great for the game.
There you go.
That's interesting. I
Talking
guess.
about Travis Hunter, if he had caught 2 more passes, he'd have the Heisman. And that's what Deion said at halftime. And now maybe coach of the year could be Deion Sanders.
Something about the words Jim Harbaugh and chillin' don't seem to fit.
He's a little forced. Here's another one about Deion. This comes courtesy of Joel Klatt, obviously from Fox, talking with Colin Cowherd.
This is what I think also people don't understand about Coach Prime is that he's more like Nick Saban than he is different from Nick Saban. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. The reckoning that is every day in each of their programs is really high. It's what makes it hard to play and coach for Nick Saban.
Nick Saban and Deion Sanders, more alike than different, Perloff. You're buying that?
Oh, yeah. I get that. Intensely competitive. What is it? Nick Saban, to me, is sort of right out of the mold of Bill Belichick. Just winning above everything. And you kind of see that with Deion already. The fact that he came to Colorado and cut the entire team, that feels Belichickian a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So they sort of, it doesn't surprise me at all to hear that, even though obviously Nick Saban has a lot more wins under his belt. And Nick Saban, obviously not the athlete that Deion was. They have different backgrounds. Deion's one of the great football players of all time. I don't know that Saban was a safety somewhere, right?
No, but just the personality types couldn't be further away. Now, I know Deion always says, I'm old school. But yeah, I mean, Nick Saban says that talking positively about Alabama is like rat poison. Deion's out here telling you how great they're going to be and how winning is, like how talented and, and hyping up his team, where Saban does the total opposite.
Well, that move, though, but think about Deion going into Colorado and saying you're not good enough to be here. That felt Belichickian.
That's true.
And Sabanish. Like, Deion also has a cutting side, too. It's not all positive. If you're on his bad side, I don't think it's a good place to be.
Okay, so we've got the breaking news about Travis Kelce. He is not going to be playing in this game tonight. That's according to Nick Wright. And I agree with the decision. It's so not worth it to have him play against the Detroit Lions when you've got Jacksonville looming week 2, and we think every win in the AFC is going to matter because it's probably going to come down to like every different tiebreaker in the book to get seeding. We can only imagine because the AFC is going to be so competitive. And I would take Detroit in the money line in this game if I were betting it.
I like a lot of these random players on. We just had Carrington Harrison on. He said bet the over on Sky Moore.
Receiving yards, yep.
Because Detroit Lions defense still a work in progress. I don't think their secondary is any good. So I can't wait to see these speed like Marcus Valdez-Scantling. Can there be big play after big play on both sides of the ball? But the number one most exciting thing tonight is Jahmyr Gibbs, the Alabama running back, number 12 overall pick, How are they going to use him, Maggie? Aren't you dying to know?
Yeah, is that the most interesting thing? Yeah, I mean, one of them. I
think you could argue that.
Definitely. I'm interested to see if Aiden Hutchinson can kind of pick up where he left off last year, as he was like in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. That was ultimately won by Sauce Gardner, so I'm interested in that. I'm interested just if Detroit is going to be able to, I don't say live up to the hype, but are they going to come out of the gate gangbusters like how they ended last season or not? We got to go. Thank you to Mike Samter. Thank you to Stu Kovacs. Thank you to Carrington Harrison, who joined us earlier in the show. Miss any part of it? Download the Maggie and Perloff podcast. Enjoy the NFL tonight, and we'll be back with you tomorrow. To the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers, we love you.